Warning! The Stone Age Gamer podcast includes a lot of bad language. Cover your motherfucking ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. I am Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is gloriously sampled sounds, Dan Ryan.
So sampled.
It is the return of May-nia. This year, Dan will be pitting various Super NES soundtracks against one another for me to choose between. I think. I wrote this when I was quite tired. Will anything top Chrono Trigger? Get ready to appreciate 16 bits of amazing sound because the Stone Age Gamer podcast starts now. Hi everyone, this is episode 514. It's the week of May 17th, 2024, and welcome. For anyone new here, this is the official podcast of StoneAgeGamer.com. Dan and I talk every week about what's happening in the world of video games from a retro gamer's perspective, as well as whatever the heck else is going on in our lives. You may be expecting the voice of the immortal John Hancock. Unfortunately, he had to postpone thanks to a scheduling conflict. He will be back in a few weeks. And given the week that I've had, I'm actually quite thankful that he's not here to listen to me try to speak in complete sentences.
Wow, this is starting off very well. I can
tell when the script ran out.
Boy, it's a good thing he's not here to me. Listen, the word's good. Hancock John,
take luck. You got
You're immortal. How's that working out for you? Jesus.
Oh my God!
Oh boy, yeah. How? Wow.
So like right now, at this exact moment, I'm super tired because like on top of it being like
at 9:22, not
work my
when
way,
we are going to be done.
Right. I'm gonna work my way a little bit backwards. Last night, so me and Karen,
Tarantino, I like it.
Both just exhausted. That was a hard word to say. Exhausted today. And we had our first, like, real proper thunderstorm-ish situation at around 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So Naga woke up, and she's just like, call the Avengers! We are under attack! And, you know,
call the Avengers, the JLA. Don't bother with the fucking, like, the Legion of Superheroes. They suck. But the rest of them...
Bouncing boy. What is that nonsense?
What a crock of shit. Bouncing boy. Ugh.
Your superhero team needs a bunch of stupid decoder rings. I don't want you saving the day from a thunderstorm. But anyway, so she wakes up Karen, and Karen, whenever there's thunderstorms and Naga wakes up, Karen takes the dog downstairs because otherwise the dog will be like, busting down the kids' doors like Kool-Aid Man, being like, motherfuckers, there is thunder outside and you need to know about it.
Did you not notice? You sleeping through it, you fucks.
This is not okay, and you need to know it's not okay. So she goes downstairs. It's around 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Now, naturally, I'm awake too, and I have trouble getting back to sleep, and like, as it's probably approaching 4 o'clock, I'm starting to drift off. I'm maybe asleep for maybe 15, 16 seconds, and then Ellie comes in. I just had a nightmare. I'm like, well, Mommy's downstairs, so there's plenty of bed right there. Hop on in. What the hell? So
get in, kid.
So yeah, there was no getting to sleep after that. I mean, I had to get up a little after 6, so I was just laying there for about 2 hours trying not to have various parts of my body fall asleep as Ellie tried to snuggle with me because like she was like she needed to snuggle with me and that meant I needed to be on my back. And I'm not a back sleeper.
Kid.
I'm not.
No.
Exactly. Poor kid. And like that's not going to go on forever. There's going to come a point where she's not going to want to snuggle with me because she had a bad dream. And so you do what you can.
I don't know, Chris. I haven't hit that point with you yet. Like I have a bad dream and I wake up and I roll over to Tiff and I'm like, "You're not Chris." She gets real upset still.
You're a little different. We all know you're a special case. So like I'm trying to lay on my back and get to sleep, and I can't do that. I'm just not a back sleeper. I'm a side sleeper. But she takes great personal offense when you roll over. She's like, I didn't want to be with me anymore. It's like, no, I want to be fucking asleep. So yeah, So I'm already like that's today. I'm tired. So I want to say Friday when we recorded. I think the day we recorded last Friday. Karen's aunt died.
Oh shit! Like while we were recording.
I was earlier on in the day.
Okay.
They
you didn't bring it up. That's why I asked.
Oh yeah, because it wasn't someone they were like super close with or anything like that. And they'd all seen it coming, but we knew that once it did happen, that it meant Karen was going to need to take a trip out of town.
Sure,
and it just kind of came up right quick. So that wound up getting scheduled for Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. So she was out of town.
I love the confidence in which you have given all of these days. Wednesday? Like, no, nailing it. Everybody's totally believing it was Wednesday.
Well, there was this whole thing where, like, she was going to go with her mom, but her mom wanted to go Tuesday and, like, stay at the hotel Tuesday and Wednesday and then come back Thursday. And Karen was like, I don't think I get bereavement time for aunts. And like, no,
certainly not 3 days.
Yeah. So
where did she have to go? I feel like that's an important part of the story. Did you say it? Did I miss it?
Maryland. It was like a 3.5 hour drive. So
yeah. So that's a day trip.
So she wound up waking up
breaks here
Wednesday morning, driving out there, staying over, and then coming back on Thursday. Now, things to know, I tend not to sleep very well when Karen's out of town because, I'm used to having her sleeping next to me. It is cute until she goes away, and then I'm exhausted.
I get a body pillow.
I have a body pillow.
Do you?
I do. I sleep on my side with a body pillow because I got to have something between my knees. Like, it's just something between my knees and my ankles.
Usually it's Karen, but when she's not there,
that's the thing. It's Karen next to me. It's like the sound. She snores like a motherfucker, and like when she's not there snoring next to me, I have a hard time falling asleep.
That's why I go to bed before Tiff, because she fucking snores like a motherfucker. It's like dragging hardwood furniture across a hardwood floor.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I have a hard time sleeping without that noise next to me. It's just the thing. So I was already kind of half in the tank from not sleeping then. But now let's rewind a little bit. So now that's Karen's week. Let's rewind a bit. Let's go a little bit back. We're watching Memento here. Sunday morning.
I got a bunch of shit written on my arms.
Sunday morning, I'm having a real good time. Woke up in the morning and decided to make some waffles. Ellie and I are listening to like fucking waffles. Sam Cooke music and just dancing around. We're having a good time.
Nice.
During breakfast, my phone rings. It's my friend Jim. Now, if Jim's calling me at this time, based on what I know of what's happening elsewhere, it's either one, there's some really cool Dragon Ball news that I didn't know about, or two,
which it definitely wasn't.
It definitely wasn't. A very dear friend of mine passed away on Sunday morning. Somebody I cared about.
Well, that is really shitty.
Yeah. She has been fighting cancer for a fucking decade. And I got news on Friday. It was earlier in the week that she hadn't been doing that well again. And I found out the news on Facebook from her mom, like asking for prayers. And I'm like, okay, this has never once happened in the 10 years she's had cancer.
Right.
So this is the moment. This is the moment. This is probably coming. Now, the last time I talked, I've talked to her like little bits here and there, through text messages and whatnot, but like maybe a year and a half ago, it was the last time she came out of it because she kept having these bits where it'd be like, all right, I've got this shit figured out. We're going to move forward. And then like, a month later, it'd be like some new bump in the road, just like absolutely fucking relentless. And, I made plans in my reminders app in my phone. That's the thing I need to do, make plans with Julie. And I kept fucking putting it off. I put it off over and over and over again. And now it's too late. There is there is no make plans with Julie one more time, which is it was really important to me. It clearly wasn't enough because I kept putting it off because of life and being busy and all these things, but she was doing better. And I was like, no, I know somewhere in my mind, I kept looking at it like, I really do need to make this happen because it is important to me. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. And, well, here we are. So she passed away Sunday morning. And her wake was on Thursday night. So yesterday. And then the funeral was this morning. And that was just out in Vineland, but it's still like a 45-minute drive. So Karen gets back on Thursday morning. No, she gets back like Thursday afternoon. I'm already exhausted from the night before because she wasn't around. And she's exhausted because she just spent like 12 hours with her mother. And having to sit through a Catholic funeral, which, as she put it, she couldn't be sitting anywhere near her mom because the two of them have seen so much religious satire over the years. The two of them could not stop fucking laughing.
Nice.
There was a point during the funeral where her mom's sister's funeral, where her mom tapped her on the shoulder. It was like, "Blessed are the cheesemakers." Just like, wow, shut the fuck up.
I think that's healthy. That's the right way to do a funeral.
That is the right way to do it, except there's a lot of Catholic people who would think otherwise.
Well, they're fucking wrong. I gotta be honest with you.
So we, so she gets back with about enough time to take a shower and eat something real quick. And then we get in the car. Actually, no, we didn't get in the car. We had a bunch of our friends come over because I'm the guy with the minivan. Fuck yeah. And we all carpooled.
You got to drive
there.
Everybody.
That's why I bought the minivan. I don't drink, and I love driving people around. So come on over. They were like, Greg's like, hey, or maybe we can like carpool together. I'm like, fuck yeah. Bring them on over. I've got a minivan, and I don't drink.
I'm already outside of your house. I'm ready to pick you up.
So they all come to me. We get into the get into the minivan. We drive out there. Now the thing was, Julie was one of the most outstandingly positive people I've ever met in my life. I mean, seriously, she had been through 10 years of this cancer nonsense, and she was always so fucking positive. It was ridiculous. So she was very specific because apparently it wasn't like a surprise, like she was able to make some plans, which is, honest to goodness, I'm very sad that she's gone, but I'm so relieved that she's not fighting this shit anymore. Because it's one of those cosmic injustices that has bothered me for fucking 10 years. Like an absolute cosmic injustice that someone so good has to deal with this shit when there's so many awful people walking around just the fuck fine. Yeah. So, she was very specific. Wear bright colors.
Nice.
I was like, all right, well, I don't know if you remember a few months back, I talked about going to like a fancy Star Wars dinner party with Karen, where I had it was a Star Wars themed like fancy party. So she got this like white dress with some blue accents and stuff, and I bought like this $40 gold suit off of Amazon. So I was 3PO and she was R2. And that thing's extraordinarily uncomfortable, and it's been sitting in my closet because like it's just a hilarious
when are you ever going to wear a gold suit again?
And that's what I'm like, well, I'm never going to use this again, but I'm not going to get rid of it because, come on, this is ridiculous. And of course, if anyone on earth is going to find an excuse for me to wear this shit again, it's Julie. I refused to wear the pants, and when everybody else showed up for the carpool, I was like, I'm going to hold off on the jacket. But I did wear the jacket today. I wore a purple shirt on Thursday because purple was her favorite color. And then, but that was my only colorful dress shirt. So I was like, well, shit, I got black pants. I got a gray shirt, gold suit jacket it is. And everyone was thrilled that I wore it. Julie's mom thought it was real cool because Julie would have gotten a kick out of it, especially how uncomfortable it was.
Right. That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah, that was,
in the face of abject, utter bullshit. Yeah, I don't think it's too far for us to go out on a limb here and be like, fuck cancer.
Yeah,
it's nice to be able to find those sorts of moments that are why you live in the first place. Like those moments of laughter and love and joy and those little like sparks of hope in just a cavalcade of awful, because funerals fucking suck. They
they really do.
Even when you try to make them fun,
it's real hard to put the fun in funeral.
It really fucking is. And you can go like the super solemn, at my dad's funeral, I was a fucking pallbearer and like folding the flag on the casket, and there's a fucking 21 gun salute because he was a cop. This is the fucking saddest shit that I've ever been a part of in my entire life. It was just, you thought you felt bad. Oh, wait a second. We take that as a challenge here in this church. And just with the incense and the it was a Catholic thing. It was fucking...
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
Worst thing I've ever been to in my life.
A Catholic funeral. It was a pretty nice service. The inside of the casket. Because, I feel like I've probably been to too many of these damn things, considering our age.
Sure.
But sometimes you'll go to these things and the inside of the casket is like, this is not what that person was. Like, this is...
Right.
This was 100%. Like, they made the inside of this casket rainbows and shit. Like, it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. She was dressed in green, which was her favorite, one of her favorite colors. She really liked frogs. I think purple was her favorite color, but regardless, the thing that really hit me though, right? So she's been dealing with cancer for so long, right? So she very rarely had hair, but she had started to grow some of it back before this last turn. And her husband though was this dude Adam, long hair like down to his shoulders, and I almost didn't recognize him at first because he cut all of his hair off. It's like, well, when did you get your hair cut? He's like, I got it cut this morning. And they wove it into her hair.
Aww.
So, like, that...
God damn.
That's, like, that got me a little bit. That was...
How could it not?
Yeah, that was really something.
How could it not?
That's a hell of a sweet thing to do there. So
it really is. Did they have kids?
No. I'm gonna put a note here for Evan. I'm gonna think about whether or not to actually finish telling this story and keep it into the show, but I'll tell you now.
Okay.
That's how she found out that she had cancer.
Her
husband had finally gotten pregnant, and when they went for the checkup, like to be confirmed that she was pregnant, the doctor was like, well, good news, bad news. You are pregnant, but you also have extremely aggressive cancer, so we need to terminate the pregnancy. Like, here's your options. You either can keep the pregnancy and you will die, and there's a pretty decent chance the kid won't survive either, or we terminate the pregnancy, we treat you and hope for the best, and then you try again in a few years. And, well, clearly that didn't happen.
That sucks.
And this woman was still so positive.
Yeah.
She could still light up a fucking room. That's unbelievable to me. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, no, that's an incredible thing. Like, yeah. Shit's not fucking fair, man. Like, it's just,
really not. It's really not.
It's just not fucking fair, you know? Yeah.
So you want to talk about unfair? After Thursday night, we're all there, and we're all hungry. It's a group of us are all there, and we're like, we are genuinely starving, and several people really need a drink right now. So there's a sports bar, like, I don't remember what it was called. God, I wish I could remember what it was called. I'm going to text Karen and ask her what it was called, because I need to know what this place was called again. So we go over to this, we walk over to the sports bar, and like, we're we go up to the counter the bar to like ask for drinks, and like, no, sit down, we'll come to you. So like they're come over and they offer to push a bunch of tables together for us, and they hand out the menus, they take our drink orders. A half an hour later, they bring us the drinks, and then we never see them again.
Aw.
We're all over in the corner.
That sucks.
And like, we're all starting to look at each other like, hey, are they ever going to come back? Because like, should we go up to the bar and start saying something? Because, you know, they told us they were going to, like, they put the menus on the table. We didn't even ask about food. They were like, here's the stuff that we got cooking tonight. Here's what's going on. And there's nobody else here. There's like 4 other people in the building besides the 2 people behind the bar. And they just ignored us for the rest of the night.
I mean, did you still have the gold jacket on where they were like, put this fucking weirdo in the corner?
No, this was Thursday, so I didn't have the gold jacket on. I was just wearing a purple shirt.
This is Vineland, sir. How
this is
dare
not
you?
Chuck E. Cheese. I was pretty hungry.
That sucks.
We all left there pretty unhappy. We're very upset with our service or lack thereof. It was really something, because like by the time we all kind of realized what was going on, like how like food just wasn't going to happen at this point. We're like, all right, well, like most of us aren't coming back tomorrow because we have jobs and shit. Like,
yeah,
what the hell, man? Come on.
We'll just get some McDonald's on the way home, I guess.
That's what my friend Melissa did. She grabbed Karen. She went to what is it? Bob Evans. When she was out there in Maryland, and she came home with a box of biscuits. So like, we just came home and feasted on cold biscuits.
What a sad evening. Just a sad general sitting there. I'm already upset. I'm eating a cold biscuit. No butter. Just a cold, dry biscuit with nothing to quench my thirst.
Nothing but sadness on it.
Not even a juicy juice to wash it down. Just
it was such
sadness.
A fun evening, like telling stories and just catching up with friends and whatnot. It was really... It was a wonderful ceremony. Our old drama teacher was there, Mr. Garrison. Yes, Mr. Garrison was a teacher of mine.
Mr. Garrison. I'm sorry. I said sorry.
He stayed in touch with Julie over the years because they continued to work together because Julie eventually became a teacher. Because she wanted to do all kinds of stuff, but she couldn't because of the cancer.
Sure.
But, she was a teacher, and she did all kinds of theater work with him over the years. So Mr. G was pretty upset while we were there, but we were just having such a good time talking with him, and it was actually a whole lot of fun chatting with him again. For I hadn't spoken to him in a little while. He used to write for Geekade, which was one of the fun things in my life. And one of my old teachers, I would edit his writing to post online. And he brought that up. He was like, that was so much fun. And I was like, that was so much fun, but fuck, I can't do that anymore.
That's wild.
So yeah, here I am.
I'm sorry, man. That sucks.
Thanks. It's like
that sucks. Full stop.
It sucks all around. I'm bummed about it, but not like I'm not. Again, I'm so. The whole time I was there, it's like I wasn't even getting the hair thing choked me up for sure, because that's too goddamn sweet. That's like out of a fucking movie. Like, what are you doing to me, Adam?
Yeah.
Like,
that's not cool, man. Don't do shit like that. I'm already vulnerable.
But seriously, I've just been so caught up in the relieved that it's over bit of it that I haven't really been ultra sad. Like, it is a sad situation, but it is so relieving that I'm never gonna get another phone call from her that about how shit has gotten worse again. Like, that's just not going to happen again, and there is a relief in that. There really is.
There's a relief. There's a joy in that. My friend Jessica went through a similar situation earlier in the year. Found out on Facebook, like, Jess had been going through it for 10 years, whatever. Yeah, and I wasn't like super close with her, you know what I mean? But like friendly enough, and like was always happy to see her and chat with her and all of that sort of stuff. But you know, that relief of like, man, that fuck, dude, that really sucks. However, it's over.
Yeah,
you know, like
it's over.
Because as much positivity as you want to throw into the world, that's amazing. It still sucks. Like it's still hard and hurts. And all of those things, and you know, we try to like, we bring ourselves comfort with that because it is comforting. You know, for me, like, and it's something that certainly happened as I've gotten older. When I was a kid, like, and I went through this, like, my dad died, and then the year after that, my grandmother died, and then it was like, it was a lot to process as a kid, especially a kid who was still a religious, you know, believing kid and whatever. I feel like now as an adult, and I'm not judging anybody for it, like please don't take it that way if you are a religious person who listens to this podcast. This is not a judgment on you. For me, with where I am now as far as, you know, religion, afterlife, all of that stuff is concerned, I am able to have that feeling of, for them, it is over. It's done, you know, and it doesn't matter if there's anything after it. The part that sucked, they don't have to go through that anymore, and they didn't deserve to go through that to fucking begin with, you know, so they don't have to do that, and we can take solace in the fact that the memories remain, but the pain is gone, and that's okay. You know?
Well said. I think.
But don't fucking beat yourself up about the I should have called, I shoulda. Like don't fucking beat yourself up about that. It doesn't mean anything about people being less important or more important or any of those things.
Nah,
life
it's her mom cleared that up for me straight away when I saw her today.
Yeah.
She just immediately was like, she loved you so much, and you know, she knew how much you cared about her, and I was like, yep, that's 100% what I needed to hear.
That's all it is, man. Like life is a series of fucking consequences. You know? And kids and jobs and responsibility, like it all gets in the fucking way. We should all make more time for each other. We really should. But we don't, and we can't.
We can't. Fucking life is ridiculous.
It is what it is. Like, which it has been brought to my attention completely as an aside. It is what it is apparently like one of the state mottos of New Jersey. And I realize that I say that quite a lot. It is what it is at the end of the day. And I think, fuck you. Those were like the top three New Jersey. Like, how do you know you're from Jersey? You say those things sometimes in succession. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Fuck you. You know, like so.
I'm pretty sure that's what the minister said at Julie's funeral. Actually,
probably at you know, it's the perfect way to wrap things up. Whenever I officiate a wedding, that's usually my closing.
Dearly
is what
beloved.
It is.
It is what
Dearly
it is.
Beloved. It is what it is. Fuck you. Oh man. Good.
Yeah, so
God.
I'm really extra sauce tired this evening because it's been such a fucking week. It really
that
has.
Sucks, man. It is a draining experience.
Yeah, and like Karen, double-fisted funerals. Like she wasn't nearly as close to Julie as I was, but you know,
sure,
she still does not enjoy funerals. Who
no.
does? Yeah, it's like fuck yes, funeral. Sign me up.
I can't wait. This is gonna be fucking awesome. Got the little hors d'oeuvres. Kind of think they're gonna have. It's like Wedding Crashers, but a really fucking different version of it.
Funeral Crashers.
Don't they actually? They do end up like fucking funeral crashing in that movie.
Do they?
Like Will Ferrell's like, oh, you've never seen fucking Wedding Crashers?
No.
Oh my God. That movie is incredible. It's incredible. It's so good. It's so fucking funny. It's so fucking funny. Yeah. No, it's sometimes like it's almost harder on the spouse at times, like when the spouse is not close to the person who has passed on, and you're like, I don't feel the same feelings as everybody else is here, but I love this person and they are fucking destroyed. Yeah. This is a weird melange of fucking emotions to manage here.
I did have a really weird situation when we first got there. So, like, a friend of mine, her mom has never liked me. And I know
understandable.
Understandable. I'm not a very likable guy. But like,
you're really not.
I know this. It was reported to me that she was heard very clearly stating that when I was dating her, that she thought I was. She wished that she was dating someone else. She just did not care for me all that much.
That sucks.
Which is fine because I never really liked her all that much either.
The mom or the girl?
Oh, the girl I love to death. She's wonderful. I've just never particularly cared for her mom. So we got there, and her mom, like, I introduced her to Karen because she had never met Karen before, and she was just like super nice and being like, see, I knew I liked him the moment I met him because he showed up to take my daughter to the prom in a pair of Chuck Taylors, and I just knew he was something special. And I'm like,
look,
you did.
Bitch.
I distinctly remember you saying that you wished she would have been with a nice guy like this other fella. I'm not going to name names, but like weird. I distinctly remember, like, you're
like what's weird about that is that for all of your many unlikable qualities, of which there are just a fucking
myriad.
Metric fuck ton. Yeah, myriad. Yeah, let's go with that. That's better than metric fuck ton. Not being a nice guy, that's not one of them. You're a nice person. There are plenty of legitimate reasons to be like, that Kris fella, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about him. He kind of stinks.
But not because of the odor is one of them. That's one of the fucking things.
So, yeah, I really, really needed to shower before getting on the podcast tonight because I had not showered since getting home from the funeral home.
I'm saying.
And funeral home smell and feel is just like, no.
It's grody.
I didn't get to make pizza today because we didn't get back in time for me to make the dough. And, oh, my God, I'm so tired. But how you doing? How was your week?
It's all right. Tiff and I have been watching one of the app. What? Yes,
paint dry. Grass grow.
Thrilling. Speaking of grass, my grass is looking a fucking mess, and I have not been able to cut it because it keeps fucking raining. And there are people coming to adopt a dog tomorrow. And, like, I have to do the adoption outside because Peach is still in here. And Peach is a wonderful dog. She's great. She does not like strangers coming into the house. And she's 100 pounds of not liking strangers coming into the house. And I don't think she would do anything. Like, I really don't think if I was there and I told her to chill the fuck out, she wouldn't do anything. But strongest bite force of any dog, I'm not willing to risk it. That's just not a thing we're going to do.
Not a dice roll. Yeah, I was so close to doing yard work on Wednesday when Karen was out of town because it was fucking hot. But I knew it was going to start raining, and I went to take Hopper for a walk, and the pollen has been so fucking bad this week.
Yeah,
halfway through the walk, I was like wheezing and sneezing and crying, and I was like, no. The yard's just going to look like shit for another week. I cannot do this.
Yeah.
And it's not that bad. I did all the yard work the week before.
Oh, mine is.
So it's really not that bad.
I'm not even going to pretend.
The front yard and the side yard are fine. Backyard's looking a little overgrown. I did go out there and prune the parsley, as the kids say. I did actually prune the parsley. That's what I did.
That sounds hot.
Oh, it was. It was like 80
Is that
degrees.
a thing? Is that a thing that people are doing? It's some white people shit. You want to go prune the parsley?
Oh my god.
Yeah, no. Anyway, so
anyway, you were saying.
Yeah. So we've been watching Severance. Did you watch Severance?
I think we got like 2 episodes in.
Adam Scott, John Turturro.
Yeah. No, it was very interesting. But we didn't stick with it because I think something else we regularly watched came on, and we just haven't gotten back to it. But I would be happy to go back to that one because I like Adam Scott. And
the second
it was a very
season
interesting show.
Yeah, the second season got like derailed by COVID, and a bunch of shit, and they just finished the second season, like filming and editing, and Adam Scott was like, "You're not going to have to wait too much longer to find out," because the fucking cliffhanger that this show ends on, it's a brilliant show. For anybody who doesn't know what it is, they exist in a world where certain people elect a surgical procedure where they get a little chip implanted into their brain, and they go to work for this company on what they call the severed floor. Okay. And as they are riding down this elevator, it's never really explained more than when you pass a certain threshold of fucking switch flips in your brain. But when you pass a certain threshold on the elevator down to the floor you work on, your self basically split into another person. And the person who exists outside of work does not know or remember or have anything to do with the person who is doing the work. So you get up and you go to work, and for you, it feels like you get up, go to work, clock in, clock out, and then go back home and live the rest of your life. And like no time at all has passed. Which sounds fucking awesome, right? Like I want to go to work and not remember work, but the show is told mostly through the perspective, those are called the outies, your outie, and then your innie is your work self who wakes up in the elevator going to work, goes to sleep in the elevator leaving work, and then wakes up again without going to sleep, mind you. Like they don't get to experience the natural rest of sleep. They just wake up again at work. Like time does not pass. They are just always at work. And there's like this deep layered like thing that's going on there. It's just this really fucking brilliant show. And it's not the kind of show where like after you watch it, you know, you're like, all right, let's go do some fun shit now. You know, like you watch it and you're like, oh man, that was fucking heavy. I'm going to bed. Cool. And that's mostly what we did this week. I did get to talk. I don't talk. My cousin lives out in Utah. Spent a good amount of time catching up with him this week. You know, trying to talk through. My uncle is he's in his late 70s now, and he is in the early stages of dementia. Which fuck cancer, fuck dementia. Like my Uncle Jim is a flawed man at best. He is a complicated, flawed man. Underneath all of his shit, he is a good man, and who has lived an interesting life. And he is rapidly approaching the stage of the disease where he's no longer going to be allowed to make choices. You know, like right now, Uncle Jim is at home. He's by himself. You know, it's a house he built out in fucking Colorado. Because my one cousin lives in Colorado. The other one lives out in Utah. Uncle Jim lives kind of right in between the two of them, but still in Colorado. But he's at his house. He recently got divorced. My Uncle Jim, there you go. That tells you, my Uncle Jim good guy, but he also got divorced in his late 70s. So, you know, there's some shit there. That's not a normal thing. You know, so he's just kind of there, and he's like, no, I don't want to go to a fucking assisted living. Who does? You know, but he's like refusing to move to an assisted living facility. He's refusing to move closer to either one of his kids, so that they can take better care. He's just being stubborn and obstinate because he's angry, and upset at his situation in life, as he very well should be. But he's kind of rapidly approaching that stage where he's not going to get to make that choice for himself any longer. And you know, I'm talking to my cousin Ryan about how do we get Uncle Jim to make the choice before I make the choice for him, you know, which was kind of a, like, you know, just, I'm not a big talking on the phone kind of guy. You know, we do the podcast and whatever. This is the most I like talk to one person consistently. Right. But like my cousin and I were on the phone for 3.5 hours, you know, like which is just not a thing that we do anymore. But there's, you know, so that was kind of a heavy part of the week. But then, I mean, like the rest of the week has been pretty okay. You know, I got a dog adoption happening tomorrow, which is great. You know, this older lady is coming down to adopt one of the puppy that we got a couple weeks ago, which is awesome. Which will bring us down to just Peach and Birdie, just the last two Anatolans. You know, trying to restructure shit in the rescue because it's a lot. It's heavy. You know, it really it weighs on Tiff a lot more now that she works at a vet's office as well. You know, because like there are days that she comes home and she is just on cloud 9. You know, like we did good medicine today and we helped and we did this and we did that. And then there are other days when she comes home and she's like, this motherfucker's screaming at me that I killed her dog and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I offered her treatment. We offered her this and you fuckers just want money. And you're just trying to gouge poor old people. Blah, you killed my fucking dog, you know, like, which is horrible to fucking say to somebody who's legitimately trying to, one, save your dog's life, but two, also keep the lights on in the building so that they can continue to save animals' lives.
Yeah, like,
you know, like,
don't get me wrong. I'm not thrilled with how expensive vets are.
No,
but
sure.
I also understand that this shit ain't free.
You know, it's not. There have been times, you know, where they're not sure they're going to make their week. Because most vets go through shit like that, where somebody comes in and needs a $6,000 procedure and has $200, and the doctor and the nurses do the fucking procedure anyway. You know, that happens frequently. And it doesn't happen for when it's like, well, you got to be on the special food and we got to run a run-of-the-mill test and whatever. Like when your dog is dying and you don't have the money for it, a lot of times vets dip into their own pocket to pay for that shit. Which is why the other shit's got to be expensive. You know, so it's just hard. So like Tiff has all of these, you know, kind of conflicting emotions, and then we come home and we're trying to deal with the rescue, which is not a business that we make money off of, but is a business in so much as it is a 501c3 charity that needs to have records. And when we are dealing with other people that are working with us and fostering dogs, and they're like, oh yeah, I adopted this dog out for this amount of money. They gave me cash and I gave it over here. It's like, well, you got to tell me this shit. I got to write it down. Like I have a book. I have a whole big book. I got to put this shit into the fucking book, you know? And but then again, at the same time, you're volunteering and you're helping. So how angry do I get at you to where you don't help anymore? You know, so like, it's been a little bit of that this week. But, you know, overall, it is what it is. At the end of the day, fuck you. There it is.
There it is.
I think we're going to need a counter I did play a couple games this week, though. I started the Tales of Kenzera Zau game, and it's fucking awesome. It's really, really good. It is great. Yeah, it's really fucking solid. The voice acting is spectacular. The graphics are good. Big surprise. The art direction, I think I want to stop, I always default to saying graphics because that's like what I grew up on, of like, oh, the graphics are so good. But it's not the graphics are so good anymore. It's the art direction that is so good. It's this like Afro futurism, and it for lack of a more nuanced way to describe it, it's very Wakanda-esque in, kind of like the landscapes and the colors and some of the markings and whatnot throughout the game. It's just really, really fucking awesome. It's a really pretty game to look at. And it doesn't control as tight as I would like it to, but I feel like that's almost a modern Metroidvania kind of thing. Like, how when we played through the Prince of Persia demo and it just felt a little bit floaty? Like it wasn't as tight. You know what? You remember?
I do.
Okay. That seems to be a quality of modern Metroidvania games, whereas like what we grew up on was very tight, very precise platforming and whatnot. And certain games obviously still feature that, like Hollow Knight still felt like that old kind of snappy, tight controls and like Metroid Dread and that sort of shit. But like Dead Cells has that, kind of floaty thing.
Not to the point of weight to it, and it's intentional, right? It's not like
it is. Yeah,
it's not like this is just shit design. It's like, though, this is what they were going for. I just happen to not be a fan of what they were going for.
Yeah, I don't like it as much. But the way the story is being told is really interesting. Like you're going back and you're speaking with the god of death to bring back your father, and you're progressing. You're a shaman, and you're kind of a cocky shaman, and you get this cool ability to freeze water at the beginning of the game. Excuse me. But you get that ability because you're kind of headstrong and you're barreling through the world, and the god of death is talking to you and is like, there's a girl on that bridge, don't go fucking scare her. And he's like, fuck you. Hey, girl, get off the fucking bridge. He's just being a dick about it. And he runs, the main character, runs out onto the bridge. The bridge fucking collapses, because of course it does. And you got to go down through this cavern and get this thing to freeze the water. And then you got to climb your way back up. So you kind of earn your way back up through the level after you gain this new power. It's just really well done as far as the story so far. I'm really enjoying it. You get to switch between a sun mask and a moon mask that have different attacks. Like the sun mask is all melee based. The moon mask is ranged attacks, and you can switch through them freely. So like doing combos, and there'll be dudes shooting at you from like up on some platforms, so you do a couple melee attacks and then dodge out of the way, switch over to the other mask and start shooting like some melee shit. It's just really fun to play through. So I'm
What's that
very
game
much
called?
looking
I have
forward.
forgotten the name of this game like a bajillion times. What's the name of this?
It's a terrible name because it's very long and they're harder words to say. They don't really flow well. It's Tales of Kenzera Zau. Zau.
Got it.
Almost as if there was going to be like Tales of Kenzera is the overarching thing, and right. Zau is the current chapter that you're playing, as if there were going to be more of them. Right now this is the only one. But yeah, just really fucking solid. I'm really, really enjoying it.
That's excellent.
Yeah. And this week was the first week of the new season of Marvel Snap. And I didn't play a ton of Snap last month. I was just kind of focused on other things. So this season I started off like way lower in the rankings than I normally do. Because I haven't hit Infinite in a while. I just don't fucking care. I get up to level 90 to get the 500 gold, and then I just don't care. I like the other mode better, the Conquest mode. I think it's more fun. You don't get punished as much for trying out new shit or wacky shit. But this season, the new card that they introduced is Blink, and her ability is really cool. She's a 5-cost, 7-power card. And when you play her, she takes the last card you played before her and swaps it with a higher cost card from your deck. So there's a really interesting deck building mechanic behind her particular ability, and the interactions with certain other cards just make it really interesting. It's kind of opened up some new interactions and combos within the cards in the game. And it's just really fucking it's a really fun card to use. I'm having a lot more fun with this card than I did with the previous season card. It was Baron Zemo. And he was a cool card, kind of you would play Baron Zemo down. He was a 3-cost 5 power card, and you play him down, and he would recruit a low cost card from your opponent's deck to your side. And that's fun, but it's a strategy that's been around in trading card games for a very, very long time called milling. So you are basically removing as many cards from your opponent's deck as you can. And it was a really popular strategy in Magic the Gathering back in the day, which is fine for Magic the Gathering because you have 40 cards in your deck. In Marvel Snap, you have 12. And when Cable steals a card from your deck and gives it to your opponent, then Baron Zemo pulls a card from your deck, then Gladiator pulls another card from your deck, and you're like, well, all right, there's fucking 3 turns here, and I'm down 3-4 cards. I got nothing left to do. It's just not as much fun. It's more of a feel-bad strategy than a lot of the other ways to play Snap, which is just big points, haha, that's fun. I just, big, look, he's big. And I kind of enjoy that aspect of it more than being a dick. I'm not going to say I've never been a toxic player in trading card games, because we talked about it briefly on the Discord, but my Magic the Gathering deck back in the day was a Goblin Burn deck. And that deck, every time I played it against somebody, I either won or they quit, because it just wasn't any fun to play against. It wasn't competitive. Or it was very, very hard to be competitive against it, because within 3 or 4 turns, you had lost half your points and I've destroyed half your cards. And it's just not a fun way to play a game. If you're trying to win, it's a good strategy, but it's not necessarily a fun strategy. And I don't give a fuck about my ranking or I'm number 1 on the leaderboard. I could not give a shit less. This is a time distraction. It's fun. And it's Marvel characters doing cool, interesting things. So Blink has been really fun. I'm happy about that.
And I'm happy that you're happy, sir. Yeah.
I did. So my cousin did tell me a very terrible joke, though. And I was thinking about how to phrase it, because it is an offensive joke.
Oh, right. You promised me an offensive joke.
So... I am replacing the M word. Okay? And you'll understand as we go through here. So, I'm also replacing the word person with prostitute. So, there's your offensive. How did the prostitute of little stature drum up a bunch of business?
I don't know.
She showed a little leg.
Yeah, I was expecting a lot more out of that.
Come on, that's fucking hysterical. She showed a little leg? That's fucking funny, dude. Come on. I suppose it works better if you don't say a person, a prostitute of little stature. But apparently, the M word And the D word is what I've been told to replace them with now. We don't use those words anymore. We use person of little stature. I thought it was fucking funny.
Yeah, I don't know. That one didn't do it for me.
Didn't land for you?
No.
All right. Well, fucking tough crowd this week. It's okay. Let's go back to loading the dishwasher. But like, how fucked up is that? We changed words for this one, but like filling a bitch up, like it's just, I don't know. It's terrible. Oh man. Did you get to play anything this week or?
Oh my God, Dan. What I told you about was really only half of what went on this week.
Okay.
So now work was also this was a week for Stone Age Gamer. This was a week. I'll go into more detail into that in the what's new with Stone Age Gamer, but I did get to
did
play
I
a
or
bit
did
of
I
stuff
not
this week.
send you those things that I've had in my garage for weeks now?
Right. No.
Power. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I sent them or not. It might still be out there. I have people to handle that.
Might still be in the mail. So I did the Vampire Survivors DLC. The Contra DLC came out. It's fucking great. Oh my God.
Shocking. Who would have thought?
Like, so when I was talking about the Among Us DLC, and I was talking about how they managed to actually incorporate elements of the game Among Us into Vampire Survivors, so I found it so impressive. So they announced this
and make
Contra
it work
one.
and make it make sense.
Exactly. It's like, how are they going to do that with Contra? And they fucking nailed it. So like, the stage continuously has like these unique items, like the little football things float past, the things that have the weapons in them, but they don't have the weapons in them this time. They have like these things that augment you, right? Like there's the B that gives you the B gives you invincibility. R gives you rapid fire, so it speeds up all your weapons temporarily and stuff. And that's like really cool. But there's also unique items that work to kind of upgrade your weapons, and the new Contra weapons are great. I haven't gotten the spread gun yet, but I did get the homing missiles and some like knife thing. I don't know, it was really freaking cool. But what really blew me away was the fucking boss battle. I'm playing on the new stage, New Galuga, and around the 22-minute mark or something, a little exclamation point showed up on the side of the screen, and there was a timer on it. It's like, all right, well, let's see what happens when I get there before the timer runs out. And there's this little red teleporter thing. And like, so I go through it, and I reappear in a very fucking familiar room from Contra 3, The Alien Wars. And these two claws rip open the background, and it's the giant robot skeleton boss from Contra.
That's awesome.
From Contra 3. And I'm like, what the shit? And like, then all of my weapons just kick back in. So like, I have the weapons that I had from my loadout from just playing Vampire Survivors going all over the place. And he's doing the same pattern. Like the eyes shoot the lasers out, and then he starts spitting fire around the room. But like,
that's
I'm like,
awesome.
okay, but this is a side-scrolling thing, and Vampire Survivors is a top-down thing. But I all of a sudden can't walk on the walls. I can only do like walk around the room like you can in Contra 3. And when you let go of the ceiling, you fall back down to the bottom. I was like, oh my fucking God, this is so great. And then when you beat him, something really funny happens. I won't spoil it for anybody because it's not like a huge spoiler or anything. It's just this really weird kind of funny thing that happens, because as it's happening, I'm looking like, okay, wait a minute, he's not coming for me, is he? Huh. It was just
That's
really
awesome.
funny. It was just a good comedy right there. So yeah, that's been great. I kind of dove back into Horizon Chase 2 a little bit a couple of nights, just because I was in the interest of
you really haven't been talking about that one. I don't feel like it's hit for you very hard.
Well, it's more to an extent. It hasn't hit me as hard as the first one, because I do like the look of the first one better. This one is a little bit less abstract, and they took away the fuel thing, which I think added a decent amount of intensity to the levels. That now that there's no fuel, that particular thing to keep track of is not part of the game anymore. It all is also still kind of buggy, but it is still really fucking good. My problem is that I'm getting time to play later at night, and this game requires so much focus, and it will wake me the fuck up, and then I won't go to bed. So, but I did just throw caution to the wayside and like, fuck it, I really want to play this, so I'm gonna play it. And every time I pick it back up, I'm like, I cannot put it down. It's so good. I was having a real hard time with this one time trial, and I was playing it late at night, and then the next day I played it a little bit after the kids came home from school, and I fucking nailed it. I stood up and cheered. I was so proud of myself. It's like, yes, finally got this one. God, it was so good. The whole going to see Star Wars Episode 1 theaters experience was a blast. Can confirm it really is not a very good movie, but the high points are so fucking good. But I sat next to Ellie, and I was saying, I was excited for the point where the doors open and Darth Maul's there, and the music kicks in. That's what I was excited for, and I didn't realize that I needed to be excited for just a little bit past that, because what I forgot was that she doesn't really remember what Darth Maul looks like, and he doesn't take off his hood for the whole movie until the end. Yeah. So when the doors open up and the music kicks in, Ellie got a bit excited. But then once it started and he pulls down his cloak, she audibly goes, "Oh God!" It's like, there's the ticket price, ladies and gentlemen. That was worth every ounce of this. Oh, that was so good. And then when we got home, she dug out our old lightsaber toys and asked me to train her how to fight with lightsabers. So the two of us choreographed a sword fight that we could like do really quickly. And she run around in the background with a lightsaber. It was like, this is fucking magic. Well done.
It's all you want.
It's all you want. Yep. And we stopped by the mall for Free Comic Book Day, and that was pretty cool. And
what'd you get?
I got the Turtles book. Ellie got this unicorn book, and John got the Pokemon book.
Cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. However, it was also, since it was Star Wars Day this weekend, Knights of the Old Republic was on a free trial this weekend.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I want to do this. I really want to play this game because I keep hearing this is the game to play, and I haven't played it because every time I look at it, I think to myself, I don't think I'm going to like this game.
No.
And then I've kind of convinced myself over the years, like, I don't know, everyone says this is a really important game to play. I should really give it a go. So I was like, all right, free trial. Price is right. Let's give this
free.
A go.
Favorite 4-letter word.
So I download the free trial. I played that game for 5 minutes and noped the fuck out.
You have to play it for more than 5 minutes.
I've said abso-fucking-lutely not. It's just like, and this is what this menu does, and this is what this menu does, and if you want to customize this, you have to customize this, and then there's this menu and this system on top of this system, and if you remember this system, then you can learn this system. Now let's walk over here, and when you talk to this guy, press this button, because if you press that button, you're going to highlight something else. And I was like, abso-fucking-lutely not. No. I tried. I did. I tried learning the things. I walked around through a ship, and this guy keeps
5 minutes is not enough time.
This guy keeps walking up to me and being like, yeah, I'm General so-and-so. Thanks for asking. This ship's exploding. While it's exploding, why don't you walk over here and press this button to open up the door? And when you press that other button, you're going to look at this potted plant, and it's going to tell you a little bit about this potted plant. Did I mention the ship's exploding? We should probably go fast. But when we go over there, press this other button so you can relinquish control to me. I'll be a member of your party, but when I'm not in control of, when you're not in control of you, you can control me by pressing this other button. And every single person has all these different attributes. Let me explain all these attributes. Did I mention that the ship's exploding? We really got to move really quickly. Anyway, back to the attributes. This is the things that I can do. You could probably open this door because you're pretty good with these keypad things, but I'm an officer and I have more clearance than you do, so I'm going to press these buttons on this keypad. Oh, did I mention that this ship is exploding and we should get the fuck out of here? Anyway, menus. You got to open up this menu, and did you want to change your shoes? Because you've got a couple different shoe options. You might get other shoe options later in the game. I'm really enthusiastic about all this, probably because the ship's exploding and we're going to die, but we should find somebody else. Did I mention that, And I was just like, I don't want to play this game. There is nothing this game could do that would be worth this.
Not true.
There is nothing this game could do that would be worth me learning this. What the fuck?
Disagree
I was
entirely.
so mad. I just got the fuck out of I deleted it off the Switch. I was just like, this thing's taken up like 12 gigs of space. I was like, absolutely not. I will watch a YouTube video of this before I fucking play it myself. No.
I said it in... excuse me. I don't ever yawn on the show. Apparently I'm tired too. I said it in our Discord. I don't think you're going to enjoy playing it. I still think you should play it. I don't think you're going to enjoy it. Like, it is dense. It is outdated. You know, it was another thing I put in our Discord too, of like, I am so happy that I played that game when I did, because I will never go back and play through it again in its current form. Because it just, I don't have the time for all of that again. And a lot of what you get introduced to there in the beginning, like, you don't have to do all that shit. Like, with all the other characters, like, you can just kind of play the game, but you gotta slog through a fair amount of menus and people like talking head shit at the beginning.
I couldn't get into Mass Effect either. I just don't. And
Mass Effect is more refined
kind of game
than, you know, certainly than Knights of the Old Republic.
Right. I am not built for these kinds of games, and they are not built for me, and that's okay. It's just gonna have to be okay, because I'm not doing that again. I'm not.
Knights of the Old Republic is one of the very few video games where a certain story beat happens, and I put the controller down and I went, I gotta walk away for a couple minutes. That was intense. You know, like, I was so into the fucking story, and it's such a well done story, and diving back into like all the old lore for Star Wars, like all the old shit that I really like. You know, and it's talking about fucking Ulek Keldroma and like all of this crazy old shit. I thought it was just so cool. And then there's a couple story beats, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna fucking need a minute. Oh boy, that was wild. I thought it was worth it, you know, but that was 20 fucking years ago.
Yeah,
we've made a lot of progress. I don't like playing D&D. I do not begrudge anyone who enjoys playing D&D. Some of my very best friends will be playing D&D tomorrow night. They have had a campaign since we were in high school. They tried to get me to play. I sat there for hours. I rolled a character. I did a whole thing. I made a sheet. We started playing the game. And I was like, all right, well, fucking, how about this? And they were like, well, you got to roll for it. And I didn't get the roll. And they were like, well, no, that's not going to happen now. And I was like, this is fucking dumb. Like, and I played D&D exactly one time. And I hated the experience. I absolutely hated it. And like my friends Rob and John and Ronnie and like all these other like dudes that I'm very close with and I love dearly, anytime they bring it up, I'm like, you fucking nerds! Shut up! Stop fucking talking about D&D. Oh my god. As I sit here surrounded by action figures and He-Man and baseball cards and whatnot. But that's the bridge too far for me. You know? Like, I get it. Knights of the Old Republic is a very D&D style game. And it's the only time I've ever been able to get into it. Because Jade Empire, I didn't fucking love. Mass Effect is good. I played through the first one, but the story wasn't. I got through Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2, which is nowhere near as good as the first one, because of how much I love Star Wars. I got through the first Mass Effect and went, this isn't fucking Star Wars. I don't need to play the rest of these. You know? Because, again, nerds! Fucking nerds! Oh my god. Nerds. I love you. Nerds.
The last thing I'll talk about, because I'm so done talking about a nice little republic. Last thing I will talk about is Goliath Depot. Another game that I cannot remember the name of ever. I don't know what it is about the name of that game, but it just doesn't stick with me. I really like it.
It's a weird name. I like it.
It's a weird name.
But it's a weird name. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't work with the visuals of the game for some reason. It's just not connecting with me. And I do like the game. I think I'd like it more if I was a big Mappy fan. Because this game strikes me as a cross between Hotel Mario and Mappy. Hotel Mario, the distinction is the connection is real obvious because the game's about shutting doors.
Sure.
You're just right. It's similar to Hotel Mario, and you're running around shutting doors. And it's actually a weirdly fun concept. I think Hotel Mario, once you get a proper controller, is actually kind of fun. And Goliath Depot is much more fun than Hotel Mario. But it's also got this mappy element to it where there's things you'll bounce on to kind of have to get up real high and close windows and stuff like that. I'm on the third world. I think I just started the third world. Yeah, I beat the first two bosses.
Okay.
It's neat. There is something about it that's holding me back from going, similar to Murtop, right? I really like Murtop. Yeah. But there's something I can't put my finger on that's holding it back from it being Donut Dodo levels of this is just outstanding. This doesn't quite nail outstanding to me. It just lands in the really freaking good category, which is nothing to scoff at. I don't want to sound disparaging, but I can't figure out what it is, that one thing that I can't really put my finger on that's just feeling not quite right about the game. It's not driving me to play it constantly. Whereas I couldn't put Cash Cow DX down. This one is once I start playing it, I'll beat a world and be that's good enough for now. It's really similar Mario versus Donkey Kong, right? I'm enjoying this I enjoyed a lot of classic arcade games. I enjoyed Mappy. Mappy isn't really my thing, but once I play it for a little bit, I understand why this is fun, because it is fun. I'm having a good time, but I'm not overly driven to keep going with it. But highly recommended if you like these kinds of retro arcade games. They got the look down really good. It's got some really fun voice samples, pretty decent music, real solid music going through it. It is good stuff. And I hear somebody in our Discord actually knows the guy who made the game. Yeah. It was where did that go? It was Janich87. I know we figured out what to actually call this person before, and now I can't remember. But yeah, my friend, he says, my friend made that game, and that's awesome, because your friend made a really freaking cool game. And I can't believe there are two games that I've played this year that have direct Hotel Mario references in them. RZ and this. Yeah. What the hell is wrong with the universe that I've gotten two CDI Mario game, good game renditions of CDI Mario game stuff in the same year? Absolutely bananas. I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm glad. I'm not complaining about it. It's just really weird that has happened. Yeah. But that being said, it's getting late, and we still have a lot of show ahead of us, so we're going to take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's new with Stone Age Gamer and touch on some pretty hefty week-old news. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. And now, here's a quick look at some of the other original content available now from our partners and Geekade.com.
First up, pillows. Who among us doesn't love pillows? They're soft. They help you sleep. They make couches look stylish.
It's fun.
They're another
easy,
name.
And you're going to learn all about
it. They're another name for boobs. You know what else pillows do? They rock. Especially when they're the Japanese rock band, the Pillows. On an all-new episode of Turning Tracks, Kris introduces Matt to one of his favorite bands that he discovered from watching a bizarre anime series on Adult Swim ages ago. If you'd like to learn more about them and why Kris loves their music so much, be sure to tune into... Nope, fucked all that. Oh, boy. So if you'd like to learn more about them and why Kris loves their music so much, be sure to listen to Turning Tracks episode 19, The Pillows. Sorry, I was thinking about boobs because I said the word out loud.
You don't need an excuse. Next.
I'm a simple man, Kris. Sorry.
Simple man with simple pleasures. When you think of the classic arcade game Frogger, you probably don't think about awesome music. After all, there is very little music in the game at all. I'm sure you do, but like we've established, you're weird. However, the 1997 reboot for the PlayStation and PC had lots of great music. For my pick this month on Waveback, I chose the 1997 PlayStation Classic Frogger. I don't know why I wrote this commercial in the third person, since I was the one who was going to read it. But I'm just going to change the pronouns on the go. And I introduced Matt to the wonderful world of that game's uniquely chill soundtrack. There was a specific classification that the soundtrack had. I found an interview online with the guy who wrote it, and I couldn't find it again. So I can't remember what the classification was. But, I know where it is. I wrote it in the show notes. I'm going to do it. We're doing this shit live. Where is it? Go to Waveback. Where'd you go? Where is it? Sparkcast, Super NES, Weekend Rental, the Internet, Waveback. Boom. There it is. All right. Frogger. And it is Cute Funk. Boom.
Do love Cute Funk.
Who doesn't love Cute Funk?
That was my nickname in high school.
It pairs well with amphibians trying to cross the road, and even has its own unique musical classification, Cute Funk. Fun! Don't miss Waveback episode 173, Frogger.
Finally, Kris, question.
Yes?
Did you know that I like glue?
I did know that.
You did. I don't know if the listeners knew that, because I like glue. I like glue. I love glue. Sticking things to other things is a passion of mine, and I fucking hate horses. They're too big. They're too big, Kris. Have you ever been next to a horse? It's a fucking monster. They look cute. You buy them for kids as a toy. Oh, we're going to ride on a pony. No, it's a fucking gigantic monster. You know who hates glue? It's Ryan from Weekend Rental. Why? I don't fucking know. He certainly blames the glue whenever he can. Or at least that's what I've been led to believe. I've also been led to believe that Andy is a farmer who uses a mech to antagonize invading rabbits. Which all checks out. What does all that have to do with video games? Why should you care? Well, you'll have to tune in to Weekend Rental episode 176. The gamers get wrecked. To find out. I probably should have said to find out there. So I did it. I put it in there.
You put it in there, all right.
Come along, baby bird. I'll fucking feed you. Let's go.
For all this and more from us and our partners, be sure to keep your eyes on Geekade.com. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is now time to find out what's been going on at Stone Age Gamer. What's new at Stone Age Gamer is the segment that we're going to be talking about right now. I sound like Pert Hapley. This is week 5. Week 5 of still not having power-based minis in stock. Week 5. That's.
I was playing earlier. I still got them, fucker.
And really, week 5 is. I did the math earlier. Let me find this little piece of conversation here. I first asked for these in September. That's when I started. That's when they started telling me, yep, we got them. They're coming. Power-based minis. Anyway, the big thing the big thing that happened this week, the big, hairy, just swinging thing that happened this week. All right. I do not speak on behalf of Stone Age Gamer, the company.
I do. Everything I say is endorsed and co-signed by Ryan.
I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. The PSIO got a firmware update this week.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a PSIO, you know that there's some DRM involved in this particular unit. And the amount of work that it has taken to make sure that everyone who's ever bought a PSIO from us is able to even do the firmware update is astronomical, to say the least. When I say that this firmware update would have been nice if we had a heads up it was coming,
sure,
but it also ground pretty much everything else to a halt. This was an interesting week for us here at Stone Age Gamer. And that's about all I should say about the PSIO firmware update. Apparently, it's a good update. It does some neat things. Sure. It's nice that this piece of hardware has finally gotten an update. It's been a long time coming. The PSIO is a really interesting product. I think it's a very cool product. It's effectively a flash cart for your PlayStation that doesn't involve gutting your PlayStation like the X Station does. Right? You can keep if you have a PlayStation 1 that has the I/O port on the back, then you don't need to, ditch your disk drive. You can use this thing instead.
If you like your healthcare plan, you can keep your healthcare plan. Heard that before, Chris.
There's just some very there's a unique approach to anti-theft on the PSIO. And that is where I will end that statement. But that's been our week, which has also coincided with us actually physically getting the Neo SD MVS units in hand. Andy and the team at the shop have been working tirelessly to get them all shipped out, which is great. People have been waiting on those for quite some time. I forgot to write this one down too, but we did hear word that the MemCard Pro 2 actually might be coming to us considerably sooner than the Q3 estimate from before, which is pretty nice.
That's good.
Yeah. So that's cool. They could be here sooner. And then there was also 8-Bit Mods dropped 3 new colors for the Retro Time Blue Retro 64 adapters. These are the Bluetooth adapters for the N64. They are super cool. I have one of the gray ones, but now it is available is going to be available in orange. What was the orange one? Like Fire? Because Spice was the solid orange GameCube. So I think this one was Fire. Ice is the bluish one, or Glacier. Man, I can't remember these names. I know the pink one's Watermelon. That's one of the 3. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We're also going to get restocked on the gray and the charcoal ones or whatever. So yay, Retro Time Bluetooth adapters are super cool. And that was this week at Stone Age Gamer. That's what's new at Stone Age Gamer. And you know what that means, Dan? You know what this means? It's time for my favorite segment. Your favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment. Strap in for Week Old News. Welcome to Week Old News, where we talk about all the news that was new a week ago. First up, we have from GoNintendo.com reporting Pokemon Go players are manipulating mapping databases to catch Wiglet. Apparently this thing can only be caught at beaches, and people are messing with map applications on their phones to make places seem like beaches that aren't, so they can catch Wiglets.
Sure.
Never change.
Yeah.
Never change.
That shocks me. Shocks me that people are still playing that game.
Yeah, lots of them. That's a thing. My sister's still playing.
It's wild.
It's nuts. Anyway, moving on. IGN reports PlayStation reverses course on Helldivers 2 PSN account requirement. Did we talk about this last week? Did we actually?
We did. Yeah.
We did. Okay, yeah. It was a dumbass decision. Remember in Avengers when Nick Fury's like, but since it's a stupid ass decision, I've decided to ignore it. I've elected to ignore it. Unfortunately, that wasn't something that the dev team at Helldivers was able to do to PlayStation. However, the Steam community was like, fuck it. We're just not going to play this. We're just not going to do it anymore. We like your game.
We're just going to review bomb it and
review bomb it until it all goes to shit, because what you're doing is dumb, and we're not, the PC gaming community, they're just not having it. So
no.
PlayStation says, Helldivers fans, we've heard your feedback on the Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6 update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward. Well, I got to do the show more, right? Because I got to get the whole quote here. We're still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on future plans. An amusing news story next to this, the overwhelmingly negative review score, like, chart that you can get off of Steam. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that the Helldivers team is making that into a cape that you can wear in the game. a cape that has the chart on it. Fucking wonderful.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
What is it? Somebody had said something to the extent of, this is just another instance of Sony trying to figure out how far they can push before there's pushback.
Of course it is. Okay.
Well, we're not going to do this horrible thing. We know where the line is now. We're just going to push at it a little bit slower. Eventually, we're going to get you there, because that's what they do. But you know what? Good on the community for giving that a big fat middle finger and getting it to no longer be a thing. Next up.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
Yeah. Oh boy, this has been a week for video game news, huh? It's been really amusing. Like, as a Nintendo fan, I haven't been getting any bad news, which is nice. It's just Sony and Microsoft have been looking not so great. But we'll get there. But Nintendo reports Nintendo results for fiscal year ended March 2024. Switch hits 141.32 million sold. It does seem very good, very plausible that they might get to that PlayStation 2 number again, unless Sony decides that there was another 10 million under the couch. They just be like, you know what? No, we sold another 10 million of those a couple days ago.
I hope they do. I hope it's like 50 million. Like, no, we found votes. Haha, fuckers. We're never leaving.
There have been 31 million seller titles during this period. Hardware sales for this period totaled 15.7 million units. The numbers are insane. Their profit,
it's awesome.
Their profit for this generation has been more than like everything from 1986 to now or something. Like, it's just some crazy number with their profit, which is
because inflation is broken and we're all fucked.
Yes. It is very unfortunate that Advance Wars really didn't do anything, and that is a fucking tragedy. That game's so good. But like Mario vs. Donkey Kong already sold over 1 million units. Princess Peach Showtime also 1.2 million units sold since it launched. Like, that's great. I love awesome. that those games did that well. That's just fucking glorious.
But Advance Wars sold 7 copies.
Yeah, please go out and buy that game. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, you really should.
Continuing on that same train of stuff that Nintendo announced this week, Nintendo also announced that they're going to announce the Switch successor this fiscal year. That.
Yep, which means it's not coming out this fiscal year, probably.
Yeah, again, fine. Let's have it. Let's have it in 2025. I'm fine with that. But yeah, we're definitely they officially acknowledged it as a thing that they're doing, and it's going to happen. They also said that there will be a Nintendo Direct in June, which is nice for me to be able to plan ahead like that.
Yeah.
they're doing a Nintendo Direct in June, and it will not be talking about Switch 2.
I like that they said that, though. Like, yeah, I like that they came out and they were like, no, we're not doing that.
Here's the basic outline. Don't get your hopes up on this one, all right? We're going to talk about Switch games and why they have a pretty hefty projection for the Switch for the rest of the fiscal year. And they've also acknowledged that announcing that they're going to be talking about the Switch 2 is going to have an effect on their sales. And they still have pretty high projections, which makes me think they've got some pretty beefy stuff ready for us with this June Direct. I mean, I could be very wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel like they got something up their sleeves that's going to keep the Switch rolling. So yeah, that's great news for Nintendo all around there. But meanwhile, the big news this week.
Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice.
Kotaku this week. Microsoft closes studios behind Redfall, Hi-Fi Rush, and more to prioritize, quote, high-impact games. I hate every fucking thing about this story.
If you thought the merger was good, you were wrong. Just putting that out there.
I think somebody did the math that, like, they could have kept these studios open for, like, another 17 years or something with the money the golden parachute they gave Bobby Kotick. Like...
Yeah. Yeah.
After this was announced, Microsoft made the statement something to the effect of, we need games like Hi-Fi Rush. They're really important. Yeah? They are?
Are they?
Yeah, they are. There's another story that we're going to hit on here about Capcom making a whole bunch of money for like the 7th year. What's the story here? It was towards the end. Capcom hits record high profits. This comes from Push Square. Capcom hits record high profits for 7th year in a row. We just got done talking about how Nintendo is making stupid amounts of money. And do you know why these companies are doing what they're doing? Retention.
They're making good games.
They're making good games, and they're doing it by investing in themselves.
No,
they're not.
I don't even know that it's that as much as it is. And this is something that we've applauded Nintendo for before in the past, and I think we should. I have my own issues with Sony, but I do think we should applaud Sony for this as well. Microsoft fucked up in a big bad way with Games Pass. Their games don't matter.
Oh yes, that is a big part of it for sure.
Their first-party games don't matter. Sony, when they came out and said, if we make another God of War, it's not going to be day one on PlayStation Plus. It's not. That's not a thing we're ever going to fucking do. Nintendo first-party games do not go on sale. These are premium experiences at premium prices until they do a greatest hits line. And Microsoft has completely devalued their games, and in the eyes of a lot of gamers, has completely devalued video games to be nothing more than a subscription service. And that's just not how video games work.
It's definitely not. They don't. They really
it's don't. Apparently not.
We've proven that fact time and again here. But there is also a very big important thing, and Sony has done this too with the games that their best games. They're from studios that don't have this constant turnover, right?
Yeah.
They invest in themselves, and they continue to get better at their craft instead of this revolving door of, this didn't perform. This didn't change the fucking world. Shut it down. I know this was a success. We got awards for it. It was great all around, but it didn't make all the money. So it's just not enough. And these companies we're seeing that are working within this framework of a more traditional way of we're just going to put all of our effort into making good games, right? Capcom's fucked up a bunch in the last decade or so.
Of course they have.
But look at Street Fighter 6 versus Street Fighter 5. Look at the remarkable turnaround, right? Street Fighter 5 was such a fuck up. And they're like, all right, we learned our lesson. People just want to buy a game and then be able to play it, not buy like a subscription to a game and keep going in pieces. Like, I'm having a hard time articulating it properly considering my level of tiredness, but I would just mention Mario vs. Donkey Kong and Princess Peach Showtime. Those games would never exist, or games even like that would not come out of Microsoft. They just wouldn't. Because something like that, Nintendo knew Mario vs. Donkey Kong wasn't going to sell like 35 million copies in a month. It's not Grand Theft Auto 6. They knew that, and they're okay with that. Because they are such a healthy company, because they understand the value in not everything having to be the single most profitable thing of all time. You have to you have to play the long game. And this is where we are. Capcom has been playing the long game. They don't always get it right, but they're investing in themselves in a way that makes it so that they're now at a point where they are at 7 years in a row of record high profits. Nintendo is making more money than they ever have, and it's because of this long-term investment. All the various quotes, all the old Iwata quotes that have been popping up from this whole Microsoft buyout situation has been like so ridiculously, painfully eye-opening. Like, because we, as armchair game company CEOs, like, we sit back and we look at these things and say, that's a really dumb idea, like you were just talking about with Game Pass. It seems so obvious that this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
But, we don't run multi-billion-dollar companies. What do we know? Well, apparently we know something that they don't. Yeah. Because, it seems obvious to everyone else that this is a bad idea, but it's not obvious to them. Because there's this mindset of just, it's got to be all the money. Everything has to be... We can't just sell a game at $60, now $70. We can't just do that. Because if we just sell that game at that much money, once we've sold it, that's the end of it. What we need to do is sell a game for $70 to $80. That's just the beginning of it. And then there needs to be season passes, and there needs to be more cosmetic DLC, and there needs to be loot boxes, and there needs to be all these other things on top of it so that that game continues to earn for years to come. And that needs to be every game. So every game needs to be a consistent earner for all time. And there's no way that that could possibly backfire because people have infinite money.
They do. I'm just sitting on it. Can't wait to give it away.
So unfathomably frustrated by this. And I know these studio closures have been happening nonstop, but this just seems like it's really pull the shotgun out of your ass, Microsoft. You've got to stop. This is ridiculous.
The scary part, I think, is what I see happening. I see one of two things happening in the future. One which I think would be fucking fascinating, but highly unlikely, and the other one much more likely. The much more likely one is that Microsoft doubles down and acquires more shit. That seems like the logical next step here of we acquired a bunch of studios. These weren't the right studios to acquire, though.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go out and we're going to get Take-Two. And we're going to, whatever. Which is... Microsoft is not a good company. They never have been. They never will be. They're not... Bill Gates does a lot of great shit. He gives away a lot of money. All of that's fucking great. They're not a great company. Never have been. None of these corporations are. The thing I think that would be more interesting is if they opened up the Xbox to allow other people to make it.
Almost like the 3DO.
Like the 3DO. Whereas Windows is on every type of computer. Let the Xbox be on every type of thing. Let somebody else make some fucking hardware or whatever. Because Microsoft is not going to be a physical hardware company within the next 2 years. That's my prediction. Within the next 2 years, they will announce that they have ceased production on optical-based Xboxes, and going forward, they will be digital-only platforms.
Could be. Wouldn't surprise me.
Let other people make it. It's just that's what really scares me, though, is them doubling down and being like, nope, we need to buy EA or whoever the fuck.
We know they have another platform coming out. Like, they've already talked about they're full steam ahead on their follow-up to the Xbox Series. But
no way it's physical. Absolutely zero chance. I will be fucking shocked if there is a physical option for the next platform.
Yeah, physical media with Microsoft, I don't think that's going to happen anymore. But the thing is, there was a period of time when I remember when the Xbox entered the market. I remember when Sony entered the market, actually, and thinking I wasn't sure that this industry could support 3 competitors. It just didn't seem like it was going to work, and then Sega kind of bowed out. Like, it wasn't Sega's going to move on to the next. Like, they did Dreamcast and then PS2. It was like, we're just out. And once Dreamcast was out, it's like, yeah, I just don't think there's room for 3 in this industry. And then Xbox was like, we're coming in. We're here. We are joining this industry. And there was a period of time through the end of original Xbox and like the first half of Xbox 360 where Microsoft was doing really well because they had established an identity in the industry. Yeah. Right? They were like, you would get those PC style games on a home console, right? Like, that was the console that you had LAN parties to play Halo with. Or, eventually that was the Gears of War platform. That was the, when I think of games like Mass Effect or Knights of the Old Republic, that's Xbox, Those strike me as very PC-style games. And that was kind of their identity. While PlayStation had their identity. They're, cranking out stuff like SOCOM and Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter and God of War. And, like, cool. That's PlayStation's identity. And, of course, Nintendo has their identity. And it all worked. There was competition between them, obviously. But it was like, you get the platform that has the kinds of games that you want to play on it. And there was enough of an ecosystem between all 3 of those platform holders where no matter what system you had, you were always missing something on some other platform, but there was also always enough for you to enjoy that platform on your own. And I know this happened right around while GameCube, Xbox, and PS2 was happening, the whole sale of Rare. That was one of those things that's always like, that company is so counterintuitive, so counter to the identity that Microsoft had created for itself. Nothing they've ever done has felt like an Xbox game. Even Killer Instinct and Sea of Thieves, like, they just don't feel like they belong there. And
they're not. They don't.
They don't. And it's kind of a weird thing to really say because it's a video game system, right? Video games work on whatever system they play on. But it's like playing Mega Man 2 on PlayStation. It's like, okay, I get it.
It feels weird.
Yeah, it feels weird. It was like the first time you played Sonic on the Wii. It was like, well, I don't know about this. Or GameCube, right? Sonic Mega Collection on GameCube. It's like, I don't know. Like, here I'm playing 16-bit Sonic the Hedgehog, which was specifically designed to kill Mario on a Nintendo platform. This is a little weird. It just... And then Microsoft continued to head down this route, and Sony did a little bit too, where Sony was like, saw what Microsoft was succeeding at and said, no, I want that too. And we're like, yeah, sure, we have these things, and that's great, but I want that. Like, no, give me that. Give me BioWare games. Give me. We need everything. We need all of it, because that was I remember the Reggie. Somebody just posted an E3 thing from Reggie where he was talking about one company wants to be your all-in-one machine. They want your movies, your everything in that one machine, and they want to take over everything. We're not that company. Another one of our competitors doesn't care what you play as long as you do it on their operating system. We're not that company. And like that's just kind of continued to evolve, but in a really nasty sort of way. Like, I understand PlayStation wanting to branch out to get those things that make so much more money, but it's also kind of hard to look at and say that it hasn't come at the cost of some of the things that made them, right? As games get more complex and more expensive, they're putting all their eggs in the baskets of these giant things like God of War that cost such obscene amounts of money, and those are really cool to see. But like, we're getting remakes of PlayStation 3 games already instead of more of that crazy creative shit that Sony used to pump out all the time. Like, Sony has sacrificed some of their personality, some of their identity to focus on these gigantic, super expensive AAA surefire hits, and I really think it's cost them some of their soul. Which, now granted, this is PlayStation, they've always been like, they've been big dick energy since day one. They're just that's their whole thing. Like, we're the fucking best. I don't care if we are the best. We are the best. Like, I'm saying,
we are the best.
And
fuck
therefore
you.
It is. That's at the end. And Microsoft completely abandoned any sense of identity that they had. They were just chasing whatever was next to buy more studios. But them buying Activision was just like the ultimate expression of we have no identity. We are nothing. Just give us all of that. We are
a
money.
giant fucking corporation, and that's all we do anymore.
And it's so sad. It's
sad.
So sad
It's
because
sad.
it was such an interesting. When I think back to that period of time, the Xbox, GameCube, and PS2, what an interesting time for games, right? There was so much weird shit happening on everyone's platforms. Microsoft is dabbling into cracking open online play in a way that nobody had before, while also dropping shit like Fusion Frenzy, brute force for whatever the hell that was worth. But like, they were doing American style games on a big beefy ass console. And then you have the GameCube lineup with everything from Super Mario Sunshine and Wind Waker to weird shit like fucking Cubivore and Alien Hominid getting physical retail releases. And then the PlayStation 2 is like the ultimate game system with everything from Metal Gear Solid to fucking Mr. Mosquito. Like, every single all three of the main platform holders had an interesting personality. I was not interested in Splinter Cell, but I knew if I wanted to play Splinter Cell, I could play it on GameCube, but the place to play it was Xbox, right? And there were so many situations like that made that three-way competition interesting. And, you know, the following generation, when Xbox 360 hits way too fast, they're like, all right, we're jumping into Xbox 360. Everything's got to be high definition. I know we can't really afford to make games of this caliber yet, but we're fucking gonna. Because
we're gonna.
The Xbox ain't making money. We haven't figured out how to make this profitable yet, but we're just gonna dive head first into it. Xbox 360 gets this great head start, and it's a pretty solid system, except for the fact that most of them fucking die from the red ring of death out of nowhere. And the PlayStation 3 drops this 850-pound behemoth for $499 US with...
That's right. It's a lot of doll hairs.
Just, you look at this giant behemoth, and it's like, it eventually got there, but man, when it first came out, it was like, what do we do with this? This is insane. And then Nintendo is just like, you know what? We're going to do the GameCube again. We're going to make it tall, thin, call it Wii. And it was like the whole industry just lost their fucking minds. And again, it was a pretty interesting time, right? Xbox 360 and PS3 had a lot of really interesting games, and you certainly can't say the Wii wasn't interesting. It was such a huge disruptor. But this was where the identities of all these things started really Nintendo just kind of left. They were just like, we're just not going to do what you're doing anymore. We're going to leave. GameCube didn't work out great for us. I'm out. We're over
done.
Here.
We'll be over here doing our own weird thing.
Microsoft and Xbox start getting closer and closer. Sorry, Xbox and PlayStation start getting closer and closer to what their systems do, right? Their individual identities outside of their first-party releases started becoming fewer and fewer differences, right? They start getting closer and closer to just being these PCs that do the same thing, so much as where you get where we're at in the current generation. It's like PlayStation 5 versus Xbox Series X is like, those systems aren't really inherently all that different. And that's like, they just don't have such a unique identity anymore. And then during that whole generation, both those systems were like, oh man, look, Nintendo's making a whole bunch of money with this motion control shit. We should do that too. And then they fucking did that. It was like this sense of identity, this sense of ownership over what made these things so special just fucking disappeared. And Nintendo kept theirs. They went bug nuts getting there with everything that happened with like Wii, such a successful and unsuccessful platform at the same time, culminating in Wii U, which was kind of a disaster all around. I love it with all of my heart. I love that system, but it was kind of a disaster. And then they finally got their shit together and made the Switch. Like, you could see all the pieces coming together, like, all right, we're almost there with the Wii. We're on the right step, but we're just not quite there. And the Wii U is like, oh, I don't know. There's something here, but no, this didn't really work. That's it. We figured it out.
Fuck that one up.
Figured it out. And during all this time, you get all this weird shit happening with Microsoft and Sony, and Games Pass and PlayStation Plus, and I just hate where we are right now.
I would not compare PlayStation Plus and Games Pass.
No, they are pretty different animals.
Game Pass, very, very different thing. Game Pass is its own bullshit.
It's the dollar bin of the video game industry, because you're 100% right. All it does is devalue shit. And so when you launch something on Game Pass, because they're having these conversations right now, that's a big news story. They're not sure they're going to put Call of Duty on Game Pass right away. It's like, of course they're fucking not.
They can't.
If they do, they're not. Call of Duty suddenly not going to sell a bajillion copies anymore.
Right.
Everyone's still playing on Game Pass.
They just can't. Yeah.
Because what's the point of buying something that you could effectively play for free on Game Pass? We see the same shit with movies, right? What was it? The Fall Guy movie is apparently really good, but like, it's going to be I can watch it at home in my living room in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, well, no wonder people don't go to fucking movie theaters, because they're insanely expensive and you can watch it at home in no time. So like,
yeah.
Where's the incentive to do that? It's the exact same situation with Game Pass. Where's the incentive for somebody to buy this game when they could just effectively get it for free on Game Pass for the price of that service? It's fucking broken, and it results in this shit where we're losing talented studios because
for no reason.
I mean, obviously, yeah, you can look at the numbers and be like, oh, well, they didn't sell a ton of copies of games. Yes, that's entirely our fault, and we could afford to keep these companies open if we just paid our executives maybe a little bit less, but we're not going to do that.
Just a tiny bit.
Like, what was it? Phil Spencer's buddy on Twitter being like, guys, nobody takes this as hard. He's having a real rough time with this. Nobody takes this as hard as him.
Oh, fuck Phil Spencer.
This hurts him just as much as anyone else.
Doesn't
I'm
even
pretty
a little
sure
bit.
Pretty sure the people who were laid off, who just lost their jobs, I'm pretty sure they're hurting just a little bit more than Phil is. Again, he likes to wear the cool video game t-shirts from time to time.
Phil Spencer is the biggest. Like, what fucking drives me wild about Phil Spencer, what so many people seem to have misread about Mr. Spencer, is that he is every nice guy villain that you've ever seen in a fucking video game, book, or movie. He is the fucking proverbial wolf in sheep's clothing. He's come in and be like, look, guys, I'm just like you. I'm a fucking nerd. I wear my Hexen shirt. aren't I cool? As I fucking rape and pillage? Like, he's a fucking douchebag.
And I think
legit,
the tragedy
fuck
of
that
it is,
guy.
like, the tragedy of all that is he doesn't fucking realize it. I'm sure he thinks.
No, he does.
I'm sure he thinks.
No. You do not get to that position of corporate fucking power without knowing exactly what you are doing. That is
I don't know that because I've never been there.
It's just not how corporations work.
He's just not from the same. He doesn't live in the same world that we do. And
no, he doesn't.
He's completely
not even fucking
removed
close
from it.
Complete, like, fucking go back and read Ready Player One. He's the fucking bad guy. He's the same guy. Oh no, kid, I'm just like you. You're fucking not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Sorry.
All right, we've got to move forward. We've got to move on. Infuriating. So, Retro RGB reports. Jaguar Game Drive firmware version 1.13 is out. This is improved Jaguar CD compatibility. So if you have a Jaguar Game Drive, you can go to StoneAgeGamer.com and get the firmware update there. Or you can get it through the Retro HQ's website. Numerous places you can get the firmware updates from. I love James from Retro HQ. Seems like a super cool dude. I would love to get him on the show. I've asked him a couple of times. I'm going to ask him again soon, just because he's so passionate about this stuff. He makes such great products.
Maybe you should send him some saucy pics. Maybe he'll like that.
That's my next stop for sure. IGN reports Nintendo announces Nintendo World Championships NES Edition for Switch with retail, release date, and debut trailer. I'm a fucking
this looks
sucker
really
for
cool.
This. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool.
This is basically like a newer version of NES Remix, kind of, except I really like the online leaderboard aspect of it. Like, I think that's something that folks are overlooking when they're looking at this. Oh, it's basically just NES Remix. Like, I mean, it is, but it isn't. There's like... the going through the challenges is one thing, and it doesn't have any of the remix stuff, which was insanely cool. But I really like the idea of the constant leaderboards and the constant like world championships aspect of this. I think this has a lot of potential.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know about the price.
How much is it?
It's like the base game is $30, which is probably $10. It's not bad. It's probably $10 too many. The deluxe set though is $60 with the pin set and the posters and the
replica cartridge.
And the replica cartridge. And yes, I already pre-ordered my copy. I don't know.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. How could I not? Honestly, I can't wait to get my hands on that cartridge because like I want to get a closer look at what it's actually like, because I might. Like, I have the repro cart from RetroZone from way back in the day. If I could, like, take the guts out of that and pop it in this cartridge and have a functioning official Nintendo brand and NWC cartridge, that would be pretty neat. I don't know. It's neat. I think this is super fun. The games included are Balloon Fight, Donkey Kong, Excite Bike, Ice Climber, Kid Icarus, Kirby's Adventure, Metroid, Mario 1, 2, and 3, Lost Levels, Legend of Zelda, and Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. Yeah, I'm so into this. This just big dumb smile on my face.
And there is not a physical edition that is just the game?
As far as I know, there isn't.
Okay.
I kind of feel like that's Nintendo knowing their audience right there.
Sure.
Like,
sure.
We know our marks. Anybody who wants this physical is going to want to pay for the whole damn thing. Like,
yeah.
It would be great if there was a $30 like non-special edition, because I probably would have went with that and saved the money. But alas, I am a sucker.
You are indeed a sucker.
Speaking of suckers, Go Nintendo reports the Nintendo Switch is losing its Twitter/X integration next month. Now, if I remember correctly, Sony and Microsoft already jumped off this train, and I believe it's because there's nobody's confirmed it yet, but there's like Twitter or X or whatever Elon Musk's stupid ass wants to call it now, up to the price that companies have to pay for that integration by like an obscene degree. So I'm sure that was just Nintendo being like, fuck off. I'm not paying that.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind. But I love the official response from Twitter. The gaming community is one of the largest and most vibrant communities on our platform, and we are dedicated to enhancing and supporting gaming-related features. As part of Nintendo's planned discontinuation of sharing content to X from the Nintendo Switch from June 11th, users will need to download Switch gameplay media directly to their smartphones and share it natively on our platform. We worked together with Nintendo throughout this process to ensure API access for this integration, but ultimately, it was a product decision made by Nintendo. You're charging too much money, you fuckwit. Our partnership with Nintendo remains strong, and we are working together to ensure a smooth transition. Transition to what? To no longer being able to use your shit? Fuck off.
Yeah, it's going to go super smooth. No problems.
There is no transition. Nintendo is dumping you.
Big transition. Huge transition.
We will continue collaborating with partners to bring new and exciting experiences to our global gaming community. Get fucked. Get all of the way fucked. Pull your finger out of your ass, Twitter. Absolutely hilarious. We already talked about that one. Oh, here's a good one. This is a fun story. Polygon reports SimCity Resident Evil among 5 2024 Video Game Hall of Fame inductees. There's some pretty good inductees here. We got Asteroids, Myst, Resident Evil, SimCity, and Ultima. I got no complaints about any of those. That's Video Game Hall of Fame level shit right there. I do think it's really funny that
solid.
Polygon, the screenshot of SimCity they used is specifically from the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love the Super Nintendo version, but I'm pretty sure they're talking about the original PC one being inducted into the Hall of Fame, not the Nintendo one with Bowser wrecking the cities and stuff. But, you know, you do you, Polygon. You do you.
But I digress.
Kotaku reports, in Company First, Nintendo nominates 3 women to their board of directors.
That's like a huge fucking deal. That's awesome.
Yeah. Their nomination would make for the biggest shift in the board's makeup in more than 130 years. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fucking great.
Way to go. Way to go, Progress. Fuck that glass ceiling.
Way to be, Duck.
Finally, Polygon reports Warner Brothers reverses course, won't delist Adult Swim indie games, devs say.
Yet.
Give them time. Yeah, they will in time, but somebody somewhere realized, oh, this made a bunch of people angry, huh? And now, granted, this is Warner Brothers, so how much do they really care about making people angry? If there is a major entertainment brand on this earth that has no idea what their customers want, it's fucking Warner Brothers. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's yeah. Do not take that at face value.
I will also say
certainly another shoe to drop there.
Without a doubt. I will also say that there was some sort of major Twitter beef between somebody at Kotaku and our good friend Smash JT.
But was there?
There was.
He is our good friend. We're getting very close.
I could not find... I couldn't find a proper distillation of what the actual details are.
Okay.
There's a lot of really nasty vitriol, especially in the comment sections on any of Smash JT's posts, which she changed something in her Twitter profile, and he made a video like, she was fired from Kotaku? ! Oh? It got real ugly real quick. It seemed that, from my understanding, this woman who works for Kotaku, people have a real hate boner for Kotaku, which, you know, they're not perfect. They're not even good a lot of the time, but
Sure.
Sometimes I don't wish anyone there will ill either. Who's
Will Ill?
I don't know. Will Ill.
Love him.
Somebody
one of my favorite rappers.
Somebody made or is making a game, a VR game about murdering this woman. Like, the point of the game is to murder this Kotaku writer. And that...
Like, fuck, dude. Fuck.
Pull your finger out of your ass again.
Just, all right.
Find
why,
something
man?
else to do with. Yeah, why? Apparently, this game was amplified in some way, shape, or form by Smash and his disciples. This was understandably upsetting to this woman who,
yeah,
at some point reached out to Smash JT's wife on Facebook and said, "Your husband is amplifying this," and naturally,
and it's not fucking funny.
Naturally, that
like,
was
it's
taken
not
at
cute.
You stalked and threatened my family, which I think that's not the definition of either of those words. Finding someone on Facebook is not stalking, and
it's
saying
not, no.
What's
Words
happening,
have meaning.
Saying what's happening is not threatening. It's just stating what's happening. Could this woman have handled that differently? I don't know, probably. But then again, I've never been a woman feeling threatened before.
Oh, she didn't fucking have to. She didn't fucking have to. No. If Fuckface is amplifying a game about murdering this woman because she dared to have both a vagina and an opinion, no.
I don't
there
know
is no
that's
could
what
she
happened.
have handled this better.
That's why
Oh, yeah, but you do.
I'm not taking a
But
side
you do.
because I feel in my
You do.
heart that's probably what happened, but I couldn't find the actual
Stop
receipts. I don't know. I don't know the details. I really don't. So that's why I don't want to go any further into it. But I did want to mention that it was a thing that was happening that I just found really disturbing because it was so angry. It was so fucking gross. And it was so like... There was so much salivating over this, like... Oh, we're gonna get this bitch fired. We're gonna fucking win. We're gonna take back video games. Like... it was so disturbing. I hate that mentality so much, and
I 100% will apologize if I am wrong. I am not going to have to apologize. I will. I'll come out. You know me. I'll come out and be like, I was totally fucking wrong. My bad. I don't see that happening.
What I do see happening is us taking another break so that we can get to the end of this show. So we're going to do that now. That's it for Week Old News. Thank you, everybody, for listening to Week Old News. It's time for us to take another break. When we come back, Dan is going to ask me a bunch of questions, so I don't have to think anymore. That's not true. I'm going to have to think about some answers.
Or you're going to have to think real hard.
But Dan's going to take the wheel, and that's going to make me happy. So we're going to start May-nia when we come back. You're, again, listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from geekade.com. Stick around. Hi everyone, Kris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast.
Hey there, Stone Age Gamer fans. Are you also fans of Star Trek? Well, maybe you'd like to listen to yet another podcast, maybe yet another Star Trek podcast. You see, me and my friend Majid, every other week, we talk about the original series, we talk about Strange New Worlds, we talk about Star Trek. We have a third friend, Brad, who's sometimes here, but he hasn't been. I don't know why. So come on over and listen to our show, Yet Another Star Trek Podcast, at yetanothersTpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Safe at Home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey. Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
Vestlord is here, clicking and clanging away on the controller for the entertainment of the public. That's right, the premier cyber sports entertainer is back in league with the Electronic Coliseum, where all the cyber sports entertainment happens. The Vestlord is going on a winning spree of likes unknown to get a shot at the coveted Electronic Coliseum Championship. If you want to see if the Vestlord has what it takes, head on over to the show notes for where to find him, or search Vestlord on Twitch or YouTube. Become a fan of the ECC, back the best, cheer for the Vest. See you there.
All right, we are back, and it is time for May-nia 2024. That's right, feel the fucking mania and just infect you in your soul, in your veins, and in your cockles, all over, face, neck, and chest.
Can I just say real quick, while we're talking about inappropriate things, I posted a video about the 1-Up card cleaning systems, and I posted a YouTube short, and the comment sections have just been absolutely hilarious. Because, you know, I'm showing myself using the cartridge and sliding it in and out of the system.
That's right. Very sexy. It's good music in the background.
Blackbird and some 4362 comments, instructions unclear. My console is now pregnant.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm here for.
This is just
that's what I'm here for.
Ethan 2033, that console got violated. Nick 3R5365 just said sex.
Nice. See? Exactly. Just a bunch of lonely dudes fucking their consoles all at the same time.
I do have to point out this one, though. And I know we've got shit to do, but I have to point this one out. Jonathan Subber 1551 said he didn't like the way I say orange. He said it's orange, not orange. He's O-R-A-N-G-E, not A-R-A-N-G-E. How hard is it to pronounce words correctly? And I was going to respond, but the internet answered for me, with the first comment being, local man finds out about accents and dialects. Like, what do you... It's orange. I say orange.
Wait till you hear how we say water.
Yeah.
Would you like a glass of water? Or my favorite word from the Northeast is J-E-E-T. Jeet.
Jeet?
Because what does that mean? That means, did you eat yet?
Did you eat?
Or would you like something now? Jeet?
I don't know.
That's
One
what
of my
that fucking
favorites
means.
One of my favorites is Warsh. Where'd the R come from? What's
Warsh?
I'm gonna go wash my hands. Wait, I'm sorry. You're gonna what your hands?
Where'd
the R come from? But again, I'm not getting on your shit about it. I'm not jumping down your throat.
No,
I'll jump down your throat if you say Smash Bros, because that's a fucking abbreviation, and they say the word brothers on the title screen. But I digress. It's May-nia time, sir. Jesus, take the wheel.
My stepfather used to say Acme instead of Acme. Like, what? There's definitely no other A in there. It's ACME. It's a silly word, but Acme? Anyway, so how we do May-nia is our thing. For those of you who have never been a party to a May-nia here on the Stone Age Gamer podcast, what we do is we take the March Madness NCAA college basketball style tournament of 64 and we come up with some ridiculous thing for it to be. We've done beat 'em ups, we've done fighting games, I think. Last year we did Nintendo Entertainment System, or as you might know it, the NES. Because I know that drives people fucking crazy when you say that.
How dare you.
Soundtracks. And what we're going to do this year, just like last year, I went to IGN because they've been around forever. So fuck it. That's who I went with. And I took the top 100 Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or SNES, games. And I put them into the bracket. I ranked them, number one was a 1 seed so it's broken up into 4 regions, each with 16 teams, or titles, in this case, in each of them, going against each other in this tournament style, one winner to claim them all. The number 1 game on the list was a number 1 seed. The number 2 game was a number 1 seed in a different region, the number 3 game, and so on and so forth. I did, however, make an executive decision this time around, Chris. I'm telling you this live on the air with everybody else, but I think it makes sense. Within IGN's list of top 64 Super Nintendo games, they had 2 games that I thought, even though the soundtrack technically is different because of the sound chip, I didn't think they should be included in here. It seemed kind of a cheat. So I have omitted Super Mario All-Stars and Tetris and Dr. Mario from this competition.
Oh, I don't know about that. Those soundtrack... Wow. No, I don't think you should have done that.
But it seemed kind of unfair because no other game, right? Like specifically Super Mario All-Stars, no other game contained arguably 3 of the most all-time classic soundtracks ever in one package.
True,
that
but they're
seems
also
a little unfair.
Such wildly different. Like, I vastly prefer the NES version of the Mario 3 soundtrack.
Sure,
and there's legitimate compositional differences between the NES Super Mario Brothers and the Super Mario All-Star Super Mario Brothers. I mean, I get it. Tetris and Dr. Mario, on the other hand, okay, like they are basically just those songs.
Yeah, it didn't. Right. As I was going through it, it didn't seem fair.
Fair enough.
So,
good enough.
All right. So we've got 4 regions to go through. We've got a bunch of matchups that we are going to talk about, and we are going to go through each region in its entirety for this episode, and then next week we'll break it down, going from the second round down to the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final 4, and the Championship. Okay, here we go. This one, there are a lot of just absolute no-brainers in this first round, and I think it will get really interesting as we get into the second round. But our first matchup in the Northwestern region, we have the number 1 seed, IGN's number 1 SNES game of all time, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, against the 16 seed in the Northwest region, Fatal Fury 2.
We're just comparing the soundtracks, right? Not the games themselves?
Just the soundtracks, yes.
I'm not that familiar with the Fatal Fury 2 soundtrack. However,
sure.
The Link to the Past soundtrack has the Link to the Past, the Legend of Zelda theme.
Is the Link to the Link to the Past soundtrack?
So yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one seemed pretty easy. All right, this one. All right, so the number 2 seed, Super Mario World, taking on the 15 seed, NHL 94.
Super Mario World.
Yeah. Not that there's not
no
good
offense
stuff
to NHL 94, really. You know,
no,
but
come
again,
on.
That's not a great matchup there.
Here, this one might be interesting. I don't know a lot about our 14 seed, but the 3 seed in the Northwest region, Star Fox, taking on the 14 seed, Axelay.
Ooh, I gotta go with Star Fox for sure. The original Super NES Star Fox is one of my favorite soundtracks. That's gonna be that'd be a tough one to beat all around. But Axelay's a neat game.
Yeah, I didn't know enough about it, to be honest. I don't know that I've played any of Axelay ever. I didn't know if there would be a conversation there. I do think this next matchup, there might be a competition, perhaps even an upset. Again, listeners, this is entirely up to Chris's preference. The only time I will chime in here is if Chris is undecided. I will weigh the scales one way or another. So here we have the 4 seed, Earthbound, taking on the 13 seed, Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Okay. All right.
Now, again, we are comparing soundtracks, and I think what kind of makes this interesting, I'm just going to vamp here for a second so you can think. What I think makes this interesting is by taking the list of games in their order of greatness, according to IGN, 1 through, in this case, 66, because I took 2 of them out, and then only basing it on their soundtracks, I think makes for some interesting discussion points. So here we have the 4th best game on the Super Nintendo, Earthbound, against, I don't remember where Super Ghouls and Ghosts popped up, but it was not number 4.
But that soundtrack is Super Ghouls and Ghosts soundtrack is really, really special. It feels so orchestral. Like it really, really is a gorgeous soundtrack. And God, Earthbound's is so different. Earthbound's got a lot of it's a much more massive soundtrack.
Sure.
Wow,
but massive doesn't
tough.
mean good.
But in this case, it does.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts is the number 51 game on IGN's top 100.
Yeah, okay.
So you've got
my gut tells me that's fine. But
for whatever that matters.
Just comparing the music, I really love that Super Ghouls and Ghosts soundtrack. But then I think is there anything as impactful as the Earthbound soundtrack? Oh my God, that's a really tough call. My gut's telling me Earthbound.
But this is what you like better. It's all about you, Chris. Ooh, he's fucking. This is a hard debate.
This is sizzling. This is sizzling. I think I have to. I'm doing the math in my head of when I think about just things that really that little bit there with the map and Super Ghouls and Ghosts is just outstanding. But then I compare that to the victory in Earthbound, which is this perfect little trill followed by this just amazingly light little tingly thing in the background. It's like there's such different feelings, and there is music I don't like in the Earthbound soundtrack. There's very little I don't like in the Super Ghouls and Ghosts soundtrack. That said, there's so much more in the Earthbound soundtrack. I think if we're going pound for pound, there are probably more songs I like. I'm giving it to Earthbound. I don't feel super great about it, but I do think that's where it belongs. I have to give it to Earthbound. God, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, what a great soundtrack, though.
I thought we might have an upset there. All right, going to the 5 seed, Super Punch-Out against the 12 seed, Kirby Superstar.
Superstar.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was going to be an upset. Super Punch-Out.
I like the music, but it's not an amazing soundtrack.
There's just not enough of it, right?
Yeah, there's not a ton of music. And as soon as I really thought about it, it's like, oh, fucking Gourmet Race is from Superstar. It's not even close.
The 6 seed, Mario Paint, against the 11 seed, Breath of Fire.
Aw, see, I don't know Breath of Fire that well, so I gotta go Mario Paint.
That's fine.
And I love the soundtrack of Mario Paint. Like, I know you love that soundtrack. And plus, you can make your own music in that, so that game's soundtrack is whatever you want it to be. Yeah, I'm sure there's great Breath of Fire music, but I just don't know it, so I am incapable of responding correctly.
I do not know where you are going to go with this. I mean, I think I know where you're going to go with this next one. The 7 seed, Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi, taking on the 10 seed, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time.
Oh, it's got to be Turtles in Time. Look,
okay, I thought so.
The Star Wars games did a really good job of adapting John Williams' score into what they did into Super Nintendo sound, but at the same time, like, they're really... Shit. What was the other game?
Turtles in Time and Return of the Jedi.
Turtles in Time. Jesus Christ. Yeah, see, the thing about Turtles in Time was that music was so specifically written for the Super Nintendo, so it's not trying to adapt symphonic music into the Super Nintendo. It's just stuff that's written for it. And it's just what great music that game has. It's just marvelous.
All right. Maybe a deeper conversation, maybe not. I don't know. Mega Man, the 8 seed, Mega Man X2, taking on the 9 seed, a game you mentioned earlier this evening, Sim City.
Sim City, no question.
No question, really?
No question.
That's strong.
Soyo Oka's
I know.
SimCity soundtrack is so goddamn good. It is among my favorite music on the Super Nintendo, and the music in Mega Man X2 is one of the reasons I don't like the game nearly as much as the first one.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the Northeast region, I already wrote Chrono Trigger because the 1 seed Chrono Trigger taking on the 16 seed International Superstar Soccer. So the 2 seed, Street Fighter 2, right? Like, there's no... I don't...
Are you serious? Is the question Street Fighter 2 versus International Superstar Soccer?
No. It was Chrono Trigger and International Superstar Soccer.
Oh.
So I already wrote Chrono Trigger.
Right? Yeah, Chrono Trigger.
I already wrote soccer and moved on. Fuck Chrono Trigger. That game sucks. Nobody likes it. No, the 2 seed, and this I think might be an interesting conversation, maybe. The 2 seed, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, against the 15 seed, Aladdin, or Aladdin. I'm not entirely sure how you say it.
That's Laddie. No, that's Street Fighter. The Super Nintendo Aladdin game soundtrack is okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I kind of thought that's where we would be, but...
It is weirdly not up to Capcom standards. Like, the game itself is pretty darn solid, but the soundtrack is like one of those things where I didn't like the soundtrack to the Genesis one either, but for very different reasons. No. Street Fighter.
Okay. We have the 3 seed, Super Mario RPG, Legend of the 7 Stars. Of the 7 Stars, not of 7 Stars. Taking on the 14 seed, Alien 3.
Oh, God. Super Mario RPG. You're talking about one of the best ever? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The 4 seed, Final Fantasy IV, taking on Ken Griffey Jr.'s winning run.
Oh, yeah, Griffey for sure. No, it's fucking Final Fantasy IV. Jeez. I don't even love Final Fantasy IV like most people do.
No, I know, but
that game's soundtrack that's not what we're talking. We're talking about the music. That game's got killer music.
Yeah. The 5 seed, F-Zero, taking on the 12 seed, potentially an upset? Maybe? Question mark, face, click and like and subscribe. Sorry, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing?
Yes.
The 5 seed, F-Zero, taking on the 12 seed, Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Ooh, that's actually a bit closer than I'd think, just because the soundtrack in F-Zero is not huge.
Sparse?
Yeah. Zombies Ate My Neighbors, good stuff, but I still got to go with, Mute City, Big Blue, the really underrated menu music in F-Zero, like the title screen. God, yeah, F-Zero.
This is why we do this, because the really underrated menu music, like, you're not getting that shit on other podcasts. All right, the 6 seed. The Magical Quest, starring Mickey Mouse, taking on the 11 seed, Demon's Crest.
Hearts, I don't know this well enough. We did Demon's Crest, and I can't remember any of the fucking music. That should say something. I don't know. I have no input on this one. I guess I got to go with Demon's Crest because I played that one. So
there you go.
There you go.
I believe that is the right answer. I do. God, my dogs are fucking losing their minds out there tonight. I don't know what's going on. All right, probably this one I do.
I actually got a flooding warning on my phone, which is like, that does not happen. I live on top of a hill. And like I double checked, like we're not in any danger, but like the flood, like the weather's going fucking nuts around here. In fact, Nor'easter Nick said that we might be able to see the northern lights around like 4 o'clock in the morning around here.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
The world's doing just fine. The planet's fine. Nothing to worry about. We're all fine here. How are you?
Everything's good. As I said to Evan earlier, everything is nuts. NVTS nuts. Anyway, the 7 seed, Donkey Kong Country. First one.
You better bring something heavy to take on that one.
Earthworm Jim 2, the 10 seed.
Well, Earthworm Jim 2 is pretty respectable, but it is nothing compared to Donkey Kong Country. That's not even in the same league, not even the same fucking universe. And I like the music in Earthworm Jim 2, which is kind of a mess of a game, but a lot of the music in Earthworm Jim 2 is just weird classical music redone for the Super Nintendo. The original pieces are phenomenal, but Donkey Kong Country? Come on. Come the fuck on. No. Donkey Kong Country. Not even close.
Yeah. Okay. The 8 seed in the Northeast region. Legend of the Mystical Ninja taking on the 9 seed NBA Jam.
Shit.
He's on fire. Do you count? This is no fucking we. Do you count audio clips as part of the soundtrack? Because if that's the case, NBA Jam might just win the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know Legend of the Mystical Ninja's soundtrack at all.
I don't either.
So, okay.
And I'm trying to remember NBA Jams. I seem to remember liking it.
Can I give you a little hint here, Chris?
Sure.
Either one of those is going to take on Chrono Trigger next week. I don't think it matters what you say.
Then fuck it. I'm going NBA Jam.
Okay. It's getting late. That's all I'm saying. Like, you want to go to bed. You're fucking tired. Like, yeah, okay. Moving to the Southeast region. We have the 1 seed.
Dude, NBA Jam has 4 songs in it.
Yeah. It's still, so it's definitely taking down Chrono Trigger. Again, piece of shit game. Nobody likes it.
I have to say Mystical Ninja instead. I'm changing my vote. It's Mystical Ninja. I know it's not going to matter.
God damn, I already typed it. Now I got to edit. Legend of the Mystical, like the rapper. Jam. NBA. Okay. The 1 seed in the Southeast region, Super Metroid, taking on the 16 seed R-Type 3, the Third Lightning.
Cool. Super Metroid.
Yep, that's what I thought. R-Type's got some cool sound design. But my goodness.
Super Metroid
shit. It's real good. Okay, I think this is another bloodbath here. The 2 seed, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, taking on another sequel, Joe and Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics.
Wow, that made the list of best games on the Super Nintendo?
That was... Let me see if I can find it real quick. Joe and Smack Attack. That had to be down towards the bottom. That is number 61, above Kirby's Dream Land 3, but right below Aladdin. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Whatever. It's
yeah,
the one
it doesn't really
Joe
matter.
Mac. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Yoshi's Island. All right, the 3 seed, Secret of Mana, taking on the 14 seed, done by our good friend, Earthworm Jim. Friend of the show, Tommy Tallarico, heavily involved.
As far as we know, he definitely wrote that music, and it wasn't somebody else.
I want to fucking disqualify it, honestly, because of that.
It's just.
I think that should be points against it. Secret of Mana, 3 seed, Earth. Yeah, okay.
Look, I really like cool. the original. The original Earthworm Jim soundtrack has some really great music that I come back to a lot. It really does. And I think I might actually like that game more than Secret of Mana after how much that game really, really bothered me when I finally played through it. But its soundtrack is just, it's too good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The
Sorry,
4th
Thomas,
seed in the Southeast.
Engine.
Yeah. 4th seed in the Southeast region, Tetris Attack, taking on the 13th. Oh, excuse me. Hiccups. The 13th seed, Breath of Fire 2.
Tetris Attack. Mostly because I've never played Breath of Fire 2, but also Tetris Attack has such good music in it. Oh my god, It's got such great songs. Have you ever heard that soundtrack before?
Yes. I mean, could I name it off the top of my head? No.
It's so distinct. It's so gloriously chill. There's some beautiful music in Tetris Attack.
But like, if we were on a fucking, like, on a show and they were like, all right, for $1 million, video game music, it wouldn't be me stepping up to the plate. You know, like, it's
fair enough.
Definitely not my area of expertise. They're like, you can go with Yankees trivia or video game music. And be like, oh, well, it's perfectly suited for us. The 5 seed, ActRaiser, taking on the 12 seed, Super Bomberman.
ActRaiser.
Okay.
Yuzo Koshiro.
I thought so. Yeah, ActRaiser's interesting game. All right. The 6th seed, perhaps a dark horse to go deeper into the contest. I don't know. We'll see. Contra 3, The Alien Wars, taking on the 11 seed, Gradius 3.
Oh, Contra 3, The Alien Wars.
Yeah, no, I already wrote it. I'm writing it right now.
God, that game soundtrack. Fucking.
That's what I'm saying. That's got a chance to really do some damage here in the later rounds.
It might.
That are shaping up quite nicely. The 7 seed, Wario's Woods, taking on the 10 seed, Ogre Battle March of the Black Queen.
Don't make me do that. I don't know the music to Ogre Battle. I just know in my heart that it's good, but...
I know that that's the right answer.
I know that's the right answer, but like, there's this one song in Wario's Woods for Super Nintendo that's like one of my fucking favorites. I adore that song. Fuck you, Wario's Woods. Sorry, right. Sean.
It's your answers, man.
It's my answers personally. I don't know the Ogre Battle soundtrack, and I'm not going to listen to it right now. And I fucking love the Wario's Woods soundtrack for Super Nintendo. I love it. It's so great.
All right, our final. I'm just going to let you do that. our final region for this evening, the 1 seed, Final Fantasy VI, taking on the 16 seed, The Lion King.
Oh, I mean, it's Final Fantasy VI.
It's Final Fantasy VI,
but like, God, I love the Lion King soundtrack. Super Nintendo
when I
Lion
said
King
the Lion
is
King,
so good.
No, I know, and Final Fantasy VI does not have the effect on people that of a certain age the way the Lion King does, because I said the Lion King, and all of you who are listening, every time I say the words the Lion King, there is a song playing in your head right now. It might like it might be that one, or it might be the fucking shit that Timon and Pumbaa are singing, when I was a young warthog, that fucking thing. Like, it could, whatever, something happened in your head when you heard the Lion King, probably stronger than when you heard Final Fantasy VI. However, the music's better. The 2 seed, Super Mario Kart, taking on the 15 seed, Kirby's Dream Land 3.
Super Mario Kart.
Okay.
Dreamland 3's got a really weird set. Dreamland 3's a weird game in general. There's a lot of things I like about it, but nah. Super Mario Kart soundtrack, though, that's all time.
It's my favorite of the Kirby games. The 3 seed, Mega Man X, taking on the 14 seed, Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double
thank
Trouble.
God you said 3, Mega Man X. If you had said 2,
Yeah.
I would have had to really think about that one. But no, that's over 3, not even a contest. Mega Man X. God, what a soundtrack.
Time out for 1 second. My wife has just entered the NX. Yeah.
Tiff has entered the chat. There's
You
so
took a
much
tick out of
blood
your leg.
and fighting happening right now.
Gross.
Those two are just battling to the death. It's so loud in there. Now the dogs are involved. I
Oh,
think there's
it's terrible.
hamsters. Just blood everywhere.
Where did hamsters come from? All right, we're back in, said Jesus. That was the 3 seed. The 4 seed, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Quest?
Diddy's
what it
Kong
is?
Quest.
Diddy's Conquest, sorry. Donkey Kong Country 2 taking on the 13 seed Bust a Move.
DKC2.
Yeah, I thought so. All right,
Bust a Move.
moving on.
Good music. Good music and Bust a Move.
But
Not saying there isn't. But fucking Stinker Bush Symphony? No. No. Sorry.
the 5 seed, Chris, maybe one of the best soundtracks of all time. My opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not. Super Castlevania 4. Fucking love that game. Love the music. I love just Castlevania. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Castlevania.
Yep.
Taking on the 12 seed, Yoshi's Cookie.
Oh, Super Castlevania.
Yeah.
Not even
Again,
close.
another one that I think has a possibility of going quite a long way. The 6 seed, Mortal Kombat 2, the one with the blood, taking on the 11 seed, Harvest Moon.
I don't know Harvest Moon all that well. Mortal Kombat 2's music is fine.
It is. It's fine.
Harvest Moon.
Really? Okay.
Well, I mean, I just have to assume. Like, I can't. I love the Mortal Kombat 1
fair.
soundtrack far more than anyone should. I love the Mortal Kombat 1 soundtrack. The MK2 soundtrack just does it. It's a nothing burger in my head. So, well, I love Mortal Kombat 2, especially the Super Nintendo port is astounding.
Oh, it's so good. So reptile. The 7 seed in the Southwest region, the Lost Vikings, taking on the 10 seed, Evo Search for Eden.
I have never played either of those games, so I'm going to go for Evo, the Search for Eden, because it's weirder.
All right, that tracks for me. Evo Search for Eden. All right, which brings us to our final matchup of the evening. Chris, are you ready? The 8 seed, Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrals, taking on the 9 seed, Kirby's Dream Course.
Oh my god, Kirby's Dream Course. 10 out of 10 soundtrack. Fucking love that game.
Oh, I'm so excited then for where this is all going. All right, well, that is going to wrap up the round of 64. We are down to the second round. Next week, we will pit these games against each other to go from 32 to 16 to 8 to 4 to the championship. A winner is you. Is it going to be Chrono Trigger? Is it going to be Kirby's Dream Course? Is it going to be Contra 3 The Alien Wars? I don't know.
I don't either.
We'll find out.
I'm going to cry a lot next week.
Okay, that's hot. You know how I like it.
I do.
Do you see what I'm saying, though? Now, having gone through that list, if I would have put Super Mario All-Stars in there, like, I just feel like it would have been, I don't know, it felt against the competition, you know? So you don't have all-star teams in basketball. Anyway, whatever. That's our show. Fuck you. Is that what you usually say? I don't know. I usually tune out
Nailed
by
it.
this point.
Got
It is what it is at the end of the day. Fuck you.
Oh, yes, there it is. That is our show, everybody. Thank you for listening. Next week, we will be... join us next week for part 2 of May-nia, where I will cry.
You should have just stopped right there. Thank you for listening next week.
Oh my god. Yeah, we're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes. You'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ali. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks. That is it.
You're not going to thank him for listening in the first place? Oh.
I was just like, wait, where the hell did the rest of the script go? Like, I don't need it at this point, but it's just weird to me that it's...
But you kind of
do? And we'd like to... that's where my script just cut off. I wonder how did I fuck that up? We'd like to thank you all for listening in the first place. That's it, everybody. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.